Okay, Shalom Israel. Hope everybody's good today. We're back at it. It's Monday. It's Monday. Let's shake off the sleepies, and I don't want to be in class, and I don't want to hear Yeshua on Monday. We're going to get all this thing going. We're going to get these scriptures in. Shout out SOW, Virginia, SOW Houston, and SOW Rochester, Kazakia, Quatazop, and Zion. I hope everybody's doing well. Shout out Cabo Cabo and his congregation in Guatemala. I hope y'all doing well also. We are going to stay on the trajectory that we've been going with the judgment and the end times, the kingdom. And this aspect of the kingdom class is dealing with the angelic judgment of the elite. Okay? Just a quick recap. There's other events that lead up to the actual bombs dropping. But where we're at in this topic is once these bombs drop, once the thermonuclear destruction hits its focus on the United States, and then these thermonuclear bombs hit the imminent cities around the world, then there's going to be a reaction and a fallout all across the world. Just think about this. Once the nuclear calibrations are put in, there's set X amount of time, minutes, hours that it gets from its destination. If I'm not mistaken, it said the nukes, if they were shot from Russia, would take around 15 minutes to get to Britain. That's not a long time at all. Just imagine that going to the United States, you might have 30 minutes. So when these times get to that point, and it's 30 minutes before liftoff, these elites are going to be going into their bunkers and their safe houses, and that they've spent millions of dollars on in preparation of this nuclear fallout all around the world. The elites are going to be sitting back here, set up in their little bunkers and safe houses and their little protection plans or plan Bs once these bombs are in the air. So we're going to go into the scriptures to find out what happens to them when the people with real money are set up in these military installations, their bomb shelters, whatever you want to call it. Okay, the first verse we're going to go into is Jeremiah chapter 16 and verse 14 and 15. Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 14 and 15.
Jeremiah chapter 16 and verse 14. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt.
So, from the beginning, Israel was known as that nation that the Most High delivered from the Egyptians and sent them to their own land in Canaan. We've been known as those people from the beginning of time. What the scriptures are saying is, towards the end, the Jews are going to be known not by their deliverance by the Most High in Egypt, but from a different, they're going to be known differently. They're going to be known how? Read verse 15.
Verse 15. But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north.
The land of the north is talking about North America. Now it's going to get to the point where everybody's going to know that Israel got delivered from the land of the north, the land of America. We're going to be known as those people when Christ comes back and delivers us. Okay? Read on.
And from all the lands whither he had driven them. And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers.
So the point of it is that he's going to sit back here and deliver us from America and all the adjoining cities across the globe and send us back to our homeland. And we're going to be known as those people that the Most High delivered back at that time. Okay? Let's let this go. And let's go to Joel chapter 2, verse 1. Because we're going to go back and run through this chapter again. We didn't get through all of it. So the parts that we did get through already, we're going to rush through a little quicker. But we want to focus on this chapter, because this chapter is the basis of what you want to build on in dealing with all the world and nations going to these bunkers and these safe houses for protection once these bombs have dropped, once Israel has been delivered. Because this situation in the progression of the class we've been going into is once we get delivered, once the Israelites get delivered, but before we start getting, what do you call it, a war? Purged in the wilderness, as we're about to get put into a location and purged, these nations got to get picked up. These elites, to be specific, the decision makers, the bankers, the people that have the money and the power and the influence.
And their children.
Yes.
The elite families, their children, because they don't all become bankers.
Yep.
They give their children money to live their life. They have trust funds. They get to go explore the world and live a life. And some have strategic positions in industry.
Yeah. You have those. Then you have your politicians.
Yep.
The people that work for the elites. Mm-hmm. All those people in those tight-knit circles are going to get protected. Mm-hmm. The president's families, the advisors, the senators, all the movers and shakers are going to be connected.
Those are cult connected. I have to expand a little bit with the different occult groups, the business groups, industry groups, and then groups that we don't even know about.
Yep.
That they have.
Yes.
They're like witch covens, Masonic
the ones
groups,
with power.
But the high level, high grade ones.
The ones who have the capacity to pay for these locations to be protected. Remember, see, I think it was 2012, and it was that movie when California was splitting up and all these tidal waves were going all around the world. Only the elite could go to these specific places to get protection, and all the poor folks were getting killed, and they were dying in the floods and fires, and everything happened around the world.
Oh yeah, it was a good
people on the boats.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah, okay.
Everybody was getting wiped out, except for the elites. That's going to happen again. So, even when you sit back here and think of the judgment scenario, Israel's going to get delivered, the ones who are living right. The wicked are going to get destroyed, but the elites are going to be preserved. Now, they think these rock dens and these locations and these bunkers are going to protect them from the Most High, but the Most High got another thing coming. They might have had these dens and these protection locations, these silos, to protect them from the nuclear bombs, but the Most High still has something waiting for them. So, Joel chapter 2, verse 1, let's get started. If there's any questions, raise your hand, okay? Go for it.
Joel chapter 2 and verse 1 reads, Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain.
All that verse means is to alert Israel that's in Babylon. Alert the holy mountain. Alert the people in the holy mountain. Or alert the holy people that's in the mountain. That's a better way to explain it. Alert the people that the Most High is dealing with in all these major cities and all these major locations. Read on.
Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand.
So he says the day of the Lord is coming. It's not. Read on.
A day of darkness and of gloominess.
And when you guys are listening to these classes, take the time to just read and kind of pick up on the same type of verbiage. Same verbiage, same rhythm, same pattern. You'll read it in Joel, you read it in Isaiah, you read it in Jeremiah. It just keeps repeating itself. Revelation. So it says, this time is going to be a time of darkness. Read on.
A day of darkness and of gloominess. A day of clouds.
Now we know these clouds that we're talking about from reading these other classes that we've been going over. Those clouds are those large chariots that are hovering over the what? Over the sun or below the sun. So all you see is chariots and clouds and darkness and destruction and fire and bombings. This is all you're going to see. It's going to be total chaos out here. And if you ain't got no money, you better have faith. And if you got money, that don't even matter. You're not going to escape what's coming to you. Nope. You can't buy protection.
Nope.
Okay. So, but this day is a day of clouds, gloominess. Read on.
A day of clouds and of thick darkness. As the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people.
So he says a thick darkness as the mountains, as the morning spread upon the mountains. When that morning rise, that sunshine comes up, and the sunshine covers all the mountains, the whole mountain ranges. That's how darkness is going to be all around the world. It is going to be straight fear and dread and chaos leading up to this moment. This is the crescendo of all the pain and the suffering that leads up to these bombs and the after effect of the bombing. Okay, read on.
A great people and a strong.
A great people and strong. This is not talking about human beings. This is talking about angels. And we're going to sit back and tie this in to prove it. Hold this and go to Isaiah chapter 13, verse 3 through 6. Isaiah 13, verse 3 through 6. This great people is talking about the strength and might of the angels. Read that.
Isaiah chapter 13, verse 3. I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones for mine anger.
Listen, the Most High's sanctified ones, another word for his sanctified ones, are his mighty ones, and these are the ones that are his angels. He says, even them, he says, they've been called for his anger. Didn't the Most High tell us to wait on him? We weren't called for his anger. We were called to sit back and sit the hell down, be lucky you got picked up, and enjoy the show. That's what we were called for. But these angels, these particular angels, were ordained by the Most High in Christ to execute judgment on the earth, to execute judgment and operate in their specific responsibilities. Some were supposed to be mighty and strong to deliver the chosen. Some were sitting back here and had a responsibility, like in class last week, was to sit back here and go with Christ to fight the other opposing armies and destroy them. And then there's other angels, mighty ones, okay, that had another responsibility that we're going to read about. But these strong people are talking about mighty angels. Read on verse 4.
Verse 4. It says, the noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord, or the Most High of hosts, mustereth the host of the battle.
He's letting us know that these angels were created and used by Christ to attack these angels. And we read about that last week. Attack these nations, not the elite yet. This verse 4, read it again.
Con.
I don't want to confuse things.
Yes, sir. Isaiah 13 and 4. The noise of the multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustered the host of the battle.
So the Lord of hosts musters his host to battle against these nations that Christ and the angels are going to go to war with. We read that in 2nd Ezra chapter 13 about that war that Christ and the angels had with the warring armies that were still left and weren't affected by the thermonuclear destruction in those major cities, including America. Are we clear so far? Let's keep going.
Verse 5. It says, they come from a far country, from the end of heaven.
Listen, these angels come from the end of heaven, from another dimension. It said the end of heaven because they didn't have a specified location where they came from. They came from the end of heaven, from the outside, the far away. These angels came from the end of heaven. Read on.
Even the Most High, and the weapons of his indignation.
The weapons of the Most High's indignation are the angels. The angels are the weapons of the Lord's indignation. Those angels and what? Fire. Fire is weapons of Christ's indignation and the Most High's indignation also. The chariots are those ships that are spewing out that fire, along with these angels that are doing the responsibilities that the Most High and Christ have for them. Read on.
It says to destroy the whole land.
Exactly. Their job was to destroy the land and those people that are fighting for that land. NATO armies, Russian armies, all the armies out there fighting will get wiped out. Read on.
Verse 6. Howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty.
He's letting us know that this isn't going to be a very nice time. It's going to be a very scary, dreadful time on earth. Let's jump back to Joel chapter 2, verse 3.
Joel chapter 2 and verse 3 reads.
Somebody had a question?
Oh, right, yeah. So while all this is taking off, the nukes already hit. So the world is going already still recovering from.
Yeah.
In the midst, not even recovering, just in the midst of that.
Listen, the bombs are dropping. Christ comes back. He's sitting back here. The people that are supposed to be picked up and delivered around the world have gotten picked up. The ones who didn't are watching the bombs drop. They're dead. Christ and the angels are going at all these warring armies. that are fighting for power and control on earth, all around the earth, as this situation is happening. But the elites, are the elites on the ground fighting? They're underground. They went to their little camps and little spots, protecting themselves from all the chaos and commotion. Because once those buttons get pushed, they're pushed in the bunkers. You think they're pushed out in the civilian areas? Once everything is said and done, you can hey, we're going to bomb. We're done. And they're going underground and they're going to bomb.
Right. So,
Yes.
So the bombs are coming and
Bombs came.
okay, and it's all simultaneous.
No, the bombs dropped.
Uh-huh.
Christ came back.
Uh-huh.
So as the bombs are dropping, Christ comes. As Christ comes, Christ is fighting these armies.
Oh, okay.
Okay? The angels are with Christ and the Most High fighting these armies. And while that's happening, the fighting of the armies, the elites are in their bunkers and silos, chilling, thinking that they're escaping it. Okay? We good?
You want the middle part of it too, because we haven't done the end.
Yes, give me the middle part of 2. Yes, sir.
A great people and a strong. There have not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it.
Listen, the world has never seen a situation like this go down, and they never will see a situation like this go down after that time. It's going to be so monumentous. This is the time where the world's going to say, man, the Jews got delivered right here. The so-called Negroes, the so-called Native Americans, the so-called Mexicans, the indigenous people of North, Central, and South America, they got delivered from their North Country. And this is the monumental time that is going to be etched in everybody's mind. This is how we know America is going to always be that country that's burning, and everybody can see as a reminder of what not to do, of how not to live and operate. Okay, read on.
Neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations.
Con.
A fire devours.
This is how you know it's not a bunch of people fighting on the earth on a ground war. That's been happening from the beginning. Men on the earth fighting, strong men and strong soldiers and armies fighting each other. This was different because these are angels fighting from the 4th dimension. This I know it's never been this way and it never will be this way again. Read on.
A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a a flame burning.
Read it from the top again.
God. Joel chapter 2 and verse 3 reads, a fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burning.
So this is still happening as these chariots are engaging these NATO troops. It says, the fire devours before them. Before means in front. The chariots are shooting that fire from the front. And as these chariots are passing this land that they once shut up, when you pass it, it's saying the flame burns. That fire is still burning and enraging everything around it as it passes by. Read on.
God. The land is as a garden of Eden before them.
Stop. What it's saying is the land is beautiful from the front as the Garden of Eden. But as that laser beam and that fire is shooting the people, it goes from the Garden of Eden to a destitute desert. Read on.
And behind them a desolate wilderness.
There you go. Hey, just think about like Water Worlds and all those sci-fi shows you see where everything is plush and green and all that fire and explosion, and it's wilderness and desert and dead vegetation, dead trees, burn up trees, everything's destroyed and wiped out. This is what people are going to be witnessing. They're going to be witnessing this in real time. Read on.
Yea, and nothing shall escape them.
Con. So hold this real quick. Go to Isaiah chapter 66. Verse 14 through 16.
Is it still
I put it in.
wonky? Sorry.
I don't know. That's why it's over here. That's true. It hasn't been since last Saturday, or it wasn't that way on Saturday either. But this is you're good. Here we go. Read that.
Isaiah chapter 66 and verse 14. And when you see this, your heart shall rejoice, and your bones shall flourish like an earth.
Listen, the ones who dedicate their life to the Most High, when they see all this death and destruction, and they see Christ coming back, then they'll be immediately reminded why you gave up your life on earth.
It was worth it.
It was worth all the sacrificing and putting yourself last and considering the man next to you, considering the brother, showing love. Then I'm operating in the spirit of abstinence and discipline. Then it's worth it. But for everybody who was living for them, they're not going to say this. So read verse 14 again.
God. Isaiah 66 and verse 14. And when ye see this, your heart shall rejoice, and your bones shall flourish like an earth. And the hand of the Lord shall be known towards his servant.
The whole world's going to know who Christ is, how he looks, and how his chosen people look when this time comes. Read on.
And his indignation towards his enemies.
And they're going to find out everybody that was propped up as the good people, the elite, the people to look up to. You're going to see how the Most High really feels about those people who are propped up in those positions of power and authority and leadership. You're going to see how the Most High looks at them when he goes to war with them and he destroys their armies and he goes after them and their children. Read on.
For behold, the Lord will come with fire.
Now this is also saying the Lord is talking about Yahweh. This verse is saying the Most High is coming with fire along with Christ. I'm not going into all the details. We went into it last week. So the Most High and Christ are coming down with fire. Read on.
And with his chariots like a whirlwind.
So the Most High's chariot is going to look like a whirlwind. Okay? Spinning this way. Read on.
To render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire.
So the Most High's rebuke is going to be with fire. Christ's rebuke is going to be with fire. All the chariots going to be rebuking with fire. Read on.
For by fire and by his sword will the land slack. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh.
Listen, when he's pleading, is he really pleading or is he judging with all flesh? By this time, the judgment's laid down. Either you was wicked and you got blown up in the bombs, or if you're straggling all around the world, the armies are getting wiped out. Why are the armies getting wiped out again? It's the instruments that these elites use to keep the world in subjugation. The Most High's got to go with the elites. He's got to go with all the armies and the military weaponry. Because we read last week, the weaponry was getting wiped out along with the militaries.
And he's destroying the corporate control over society.
Well, yeah,
when,
banks.
when everything collapses because of the destruction based off of the bombing.
Like,
people are mourning the merchant cities, or the merchants are mourning. That means there's no more corporations. That's over.
The corporations, the banking structure, the elites, the elitism, the class system. It's still a class system.
Yeah.
But what's happening is, Russia talks about demilitarizing Ukraine, running through all their weapons, going through all their ammunition, all their long-range missiles, eliminating all of these weapons that are empowering them in the first place. And we're looking at that on just a Ukraine-Russia situation. The Most High is going to demilitarize the entire world. When the scripture says you're going to beat down your swords into plowshares, you're not going to have any weaponry to keep fueling these coups, these takeovers. The dominance has been established through financing and technology. Most High and Christ will wipe out all this technology that's fueled the pride of Esau. Okay? So, with that being in mind, the Most High is going to sit back here and plead with all flesh with this war and with this destruction. Read on.
And slain of the Lord shall be many.
It's going to be millions upon millions upon millions of dead people. Okay? This is just within the armies of the world. Okay? Now, let all that go. Let's go. There's other verses like in Daniel's and Habakkuk, but we went over that last week, so y'all can go to fill in the blanks, go back to that. Go back to Joel 2 and 4. We're already on there. We're good.
Come.
Joel 2 and 4.
Come. Joel chapter 2 and verse 4 reads,
Yeah.
the appearance of them is Salakia.
Slow
The
down.
appearance of them.
Everybody take their time. Take their time. Read verse 4.
Come. Joel chapter 2 and verse 4 reads, the appearance of them is as the appearance of horses.
Now, this is talking about on top of the chariots. On top of the chariots that the angels are going to be rolling in. it is very possible that you're going to see angels on literal horses sitting back here and coming down into these military installations to wreak the havoc that is necessary to further heighten the fear and the pandemonium on earth. You're going to have chariots and you're going to have angels on horses, and I'm going to prove it. Hold this. Read verse 4 from the top.
Come. Joel chapter 2 and verse 4 reads, the appearance of them is as the appearance of horses.
The appearance of them looks like these men are on horses. Looks like these angels are on horses. Read on.
And as horsemen, so shall they run.
Mm-hmm. So, hold that.
Come.
So they say they see these horses and they see horsemen. Angelic horsemen on horses. Rolling down through these mountains. Hold this and go to 2 Maccabees. Chapter 5, verse 1 through 4.
Where I was going on. You already got it.
Of course. 2 Maccabees, chapter 5, verse 1 through 4.
God,
Better have something about talking, right?
Yeah.
page 144 in the Apocrypha. 2 Maccabees chapter 5, verse 1.
5 and 1?
Now
Page
this, yeah,
144.
this has got to be. This is around the Greek time, around the Greek Empire. This is between 331 BC and I would say 227 BC. Around that period of time. Read this.
2 Maccabees chapter 5, verse 1. About the same time, Antiochus prepared his second voyage into
If
Egypt.
I'm not mistaken, Antiochus is around 168. If I'm not mistaken. So around 168, 160 some odd BC, when he was sitting back here and preparing his second voyage into Egypt. Read on.
Verse 2. And then it happened that through all the city, for the space almost of 40 days, there were seen horsemen running in the air.
For 40 damn days, they looked up in the sky and saw literal horsemen in the air striving against each other. Angels and horsemen in the damn air for 40 days, around 160 something BC. So if the people could see horsemen and see men on chariots riding in the sky, then why would it be so hard to anticipate the fact that they're going to physically be on the ground wreaking havoc with those same horses and angels riding on horseback, whipping up on the people? Read it again.
God, verse 2. And then it happened that through all the city, for the space of almost 40 days, there were seen horsemen running in the air, in cloth of gold and armed with lances,
Armed with swords. Read on.
like a band of soldiers.
Like a band of soldiers. So what do you think is going to happen when Christ comes back and he has angels with swords in army bands and military groupings? Can you imagine how scary that's going to be? It's one thing to see chariots shooting fire, shooting lasers. It's another thing seeing angels on horseback coming after you. And they see you and they dialing on you and they're coming after you. What are you going to do? After you poop your pants. Because that's going to happen. So this is what's happening. Read on.
Verse 3. And troops of horsemen in array.
They were troops of horsemen in array, meaning lined up in order, having their responsibility, having their duties. Read on.
Encountering and running one against another, with shaking of shields and multitude of pikes, and drawing of swords, and casting of darts, and glittering of gold ornaments, and harness of all sorts.
They were all in military garb, ready to go to war. Read on.
Verse 4. Wherefore every man prayed that apparition might turn into good.
Well, they're hoping that it was an omen. That was a good omen. Because what if it was a bad omen?
Yeah.
You're up. You know what's Creek if it's a bad omen. But at least it was just in the sky for the people to determine if it was good for them or not. When Christ comes back, there's going to be angels on chariots coming down out of another place, another dimension, with the responsibility that they have in Christ's name, in the Most High's name. Are we clear with that? I want to make sure we're taking this out of cartoon land and bringing it to the real. There are going to be real angels on horses coming for the wicked. And that's going to be explained in a little bit. Continue.
Verse 5. Now when there was gone forth a false rumor.
No. Verse 5 in Joel.
Come. Joel chapter 2 and verse 5 reads, like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap.
He says, like the noise. So, trying to explain this phenomenon of these men or these angels on these angelic horses, he says, like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains. So just think, why is he pointing out the tops of mountains? Because that's where they're going to be climbing on. What are these silos built in? Mountain tops. So listen, they're sitting back here cozy, doing whatever the hell they're doing in underground. But as they're underground, you're hearing. Listen, let me show you an image of the Cheyenne Mountain Complex. Look online, check it out. Now the way to get in is through this little way.
Yeah.
But it's all the way inside this Cheyenne, Wyoming mountain range. So imagine all these angelic men on horses that are angelic are running down this mountain and you can hear it. Hell yeah, it's scary. They think they're comfortable inside and you're hearing these angels on horseback. They're like, this is how it's going to happen. So read verse 5.
Come. Joel chapter 2 and verse 5 reads, like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains.
Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains trying to find out where they can get in. That's what they're having. Where we'll get into this damn place. There's X amount of souls that got to get snatched up. And they're going to try all these different locations and angles to break through this rock until they get in. And everybody inside is going to be scared for their damn life. Not knowing, hoping and praying that the doors sustain itself and not collapse. You ever seen all those old alien movies? They have all these like metal doors and they're shutting them off and they're like, okay, let's hope these damn aliens don't break through this damn this metal corridor we have, Jim. And then he starts saying, pow! Pow! You ever seen like Doom? Yeah. It was horrible. These crazy, nasty demon spawn demons are breaking through the steel and you're hoping that it won't break through all the way. Then they start getting their nasty paws in, like, and it's the worst. But just imagine, that's sci-fi. These are angels of the Lord coming to get you. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Can't call the cops.
Listen, cops don't work. Little pea shooters don't work.
No.
Little AK-47s and M16s, that don't work.
That's why they're making lasers. They're making lasers for a reason.
I know.
It's the STAR program.
Yeah.
God, I'm going to say good luck. You can get all those little glass shooting lasers you want, right? Little laser beams. Let's shoot freaking laser beams. There you go. I got it out. I just didn't talk about the sharks that had the laser beams because that's not realistic. But the laser beams I got out. That was important. Somebody had their hand up. Yes, sir. Huh?
Mike Patterson has
That's what this is?
That's what they do a lot of their testing, like plasma shields.
Yeah. Where is that in? Where is it at?
That's in Ohio.
Listen, they go on there. They going right to them lasers. We're going to see if them lasers do a damn thing. You can shoot all the lasers you want. I'm not knocking you. I'm listening to you. I know you're not. You're just giving information about the situation. And I love it. So read verse 5 in Joel.
Cover. Joel chapter 2 and verse 5 from the top reads, like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap.
They're leaping, they're clawing, they're climbing up their mountains. They're climbing down mountains, they're climbing up mountains. They're trying to find ways in these mountains. Read on.
Like the noise of a flame of fire.
And they got fire coming out of whatever the hell orifice they got firing out. You're seeing fire spark around. heat spark around as they're coming around. So you're hearing fire. You're hearing their hoof prints. You're hearing them speak whatever language they're speaking, Hebrew. And like, my goodness, this is it. This is damn it. Read on.
Like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array.
You see where it says that strong people again? This is that, and these angels are in battle array, ready to go to war. They're looking for something. They're hunting. They're fighting. Okay. Where are we at?
Verse 6.
No.
Okay.
Not yet. Yeah, it is verse 6. I just wanted to make sure I didn't jump it. Read verse 6.
Come. Verse 6. Before their face the people shall be much pain. All faces shall gather blackness.
This is not a color verse, y'all. If y'all pull this for a color verse, you guys will not teach in the podium for 6 months. This is not a damn color verse. Just because it says black in it doesn't mean you pull it. This is color. This is face or blackness. Please don't do this. Because if I hear it, I might cut you off midstream. And just the feed will cut off for the night. Alright? Because that's not what this verse is saying. Read it from the top again.
Come. Joel chapter 2 and verse 6 reads.
I'm saying this because people used to pull this for color verses. Back in the day. Back in the day. That's why I'm saying it. Read verse 6 again.
Come. Before their face the people shall be much pain. All faces shall gather blackness.
Blackness means mourning. Okay? They're mourning. They're stressed. They can hear the upcoming doom that's about to happen to them. The inevitable destruction of their families. The inevitable destruction of everything they built is collapsing simultaneously, all within a short period of time.
But they forced it.
This is their comeuppance.
Yeah, more than what you bargained for.
That's the point. But that doesn't change the fact they're going to be mourning. They're going to start feeling how it was to really mourn. These elites never felt pain. They never felt loss. They never felt upcoming doom that they have no control out of getting around. The inevitable powerlessness of this situation. People are going to be sitting back having heart attacks, nervous breakdowns, anxiety attacks. Your whole world is collapsing. And you don't know what the hell these angels are going to do once they break through that wall.
That blackness means a flush of anxiety. It's that sudden anxiety, that sudden fear, where that stomach drops.
Bro, listen. Listen. These angels. Do you think they got to go through the front door to get in? No. They can burn through the damn the mountain. They can just burn through the mountain if they want. They can do whatever the hell they want. So read verse 6 again.
Come. Joel chapter 2 and verse 6 reads.
If they want.
Yeah.
Before their face the people shall be much pain. All faces shall gather blackness.
Hold this verse and go to Matthew 24 and 30. Matthew 24 and 30.
Matthew chapter 24 and verse 30.
No, not that one. That's the one we got to go back to.
Maccabees.
The Maccabees is fine. 1 second, sir. Matthew chapter 24 and verse 30. Read that.
Matthew chapter 24, verse 30. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn.
The mourning's coming. This is the bombs. Verse 29 tells you the bombs are dropping. The sun's going to be darkened from the thermonuclear destruction. Then Christ comes back, and that's when the mourning for the elites start to happen. They're going to start mourning then. Because their armies, their military, their technology, their military-industrial complex, which is the only thing that kept them in power, and their economy is going to be wiped out immediately. Read it again from the top.
Come, verse 30. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory.
They're going to see Christ coming down in all these clouds in these great glory. Then they're going to see these angels on horses coming down too. So once listen, how long do you think it's going to take for these nations, the NATO armies and all these armies to get wiped out? If it's just lasers just annihilating everything in front. How long does that take? That doesn't take very long. That's an X amount of minutes. You wiped out complete armies. It's going to be charred, burnt up, all the tanks and the weaponry and the artillery missiles, the tackle that they're talking about, the Iskander missiles, all going to be burnt up immediately. Don't forget, already the nukes going to be burnt or used to sit back and destroy all these little cities that they intended to destroy. Nukes are gone. The regular artillery's gone. He's demilitarizing the entire earth. Now other people are hiding. Let that verse go and go to Revelations 11 and 15. Read it.
Revelation chapter 11 and verse 15. And the seventh angel sounded, and there were great voices in heaven saying, the kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord.
Yep.
And of his Christ.
And of his anointed. So this is why they're mourning also. Because there is an immediate transfer of what? There's a transfer of power. This is why they're mourning. The hunter has become the hunted. The individuals that had leverage and position that have been terrorizing the world for hundreds of years, their time is up. Okay, read on.
And he shall reign forever and ever.
And this is why they're mourning, because their time on earth is done. Their time in power on earth is done. Okay? Let that verse go. And saying, give me Isaiah chapter 2, verse 10 through 22. Isaiah chapter 2, verse 10 through 22.
Isaiah chapter 2, verse 10. Enter into the rock and hide thee in the dust.
So he's saying again, this is the same type of scenario. Enter into the rock and hide in the dust. Hide underground. Where else are they going to hide when these bombs come? Where else are they going to hide when these chariots come? You better find someplace, and they're going to be well financed. Try to find. Here's another picture of these bunkers and how they look underground. This is all underground. That they're bringing all these truckloads of items, supplies, waters, food. They're sitting back here and growing vegetables and fruits underground. They're prepared to hunker down for many years to absorb this nuclear fallout. But they've only made preparations for nuclear fallout, not for Christ and his angels coming back down. They've got look at these, look how deep these bunkers are underground. They're sitting back here chilling. That's many levels, many thousands, I'm not gonna say thousands, but a very long, many level stories down underground. And they're making these complexes as comfortable as possible while they can sit back here and get their oxygen, their food, their sustenance with no big thing. Okay? But Christ is coming back to wipe all that crap out. Okay? Let me see. There's another one. It's right in the mountains. Right in the mountains. Right under, they've blown up all this rock to create as stable and as comfortable of a living quarters as possible. Okay? So, read verse 10 again.
Isaiah 2 and 10 from the top. Enter into the rock and hide thee in the dust.
He said, enter into the rock and hide thee in the dust. Read on.
For the fear of the Lord and for the glory of his majesty.
He said, for the fear of the Lord and the glory of his majesty, Christ and these angels and the Most High are coming for you. So they're going to be hiding, trying to avoid his majesty. Read on.
The lofty looks of man shall be humbled.
The lofty looks, lofty means proud. The proud man, the proud people, those elites, they shall be humbled. This is going to break them within minutes. Their armies, everything they've worked for, everything they worked for to dominate all the natural resources, to keep all the world in subjugation, The Most High is just totally turned everything upside down in the blink of an eye. Read on.
And the haughtiness of men shall be bowed down, and the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day.
So that means all of their military technology, their ingenuity is going to get flipped upside down. So all their pride is going to be taken away from them. Everything they built and accomplished turned over in minutes. It was no different when Israel fell by the Babylonians. Everything we prided ourselves in was burnt up by the Babylonians. We were brought in chains to Babylon, and everything we had that we identified ourselves with, that we prided ourselves with, was destroyed. He's going to do the same thing to them that they did to us. Read on.
Verse 12. For the day of the Lord of hosts shall be upon every one that is proud and lofty, and upon every one that is lifted up.
It says, the day of the Lord of hosts shall be upon everyone that is proud and lofty. That means all the people that are elevated or in a lofty condition. The day of the Lord is going to be for everybody who's been elevated or in a lofty condition. They're going to be the ones that fall. Because ultimately, how this place is set up was based upon the elites. They set the standards. They set the rules. They set the belief systems. They set the government the way they set it up. They set the economy and the morals the way they set it up. So the elites are going to be the ones that have to pay the greatest price. When you sit back and read about Israel, who caught the most hell when Babylon wiped them out? It was the princes. The princes got wiped out. The leadership got wiped out. The high priest got wiped out. The punishment always goes towards the decision makers. All throughout history.
Yeah.
All throughout our history we're reading in Nehemiah. The priests were screwing up. During the time of Babylon, it was the princes. Now the priests have the power and they're screwing up. It's always the elites or the heads or the decision makers that the Most High destroys.
Because they have the power to endorse right and wrong.
Con.
And 9 times out of 10, they're choosing wrong. Whether it be by example or it's by bad policies.
Yep.
You got bad policies, you have bad actions, bad morality, the people below you will follow.
And that's the sad problem. So this is what's going to be happening with Esau too. Yeah, Esau, the ones who are sitting back here low level, that are sheep, like Jacob's sheep, they're going to get regular punishments, but the ones who deserve the greatest punishments are the ones in power all around the world. They're the ones going to get the brunt of the punishment. Okay? So, let's continue.
And he shall be brought low.
There's a verse. I'm going to just pull it real quick and read it. It's in 2nd Ezra chapter 13. We don't got to go there. But there was a verse that said, matter of fact, no, that's all right. I don't want that. Don't worry about it. Where are we at in Isaiah 2?
Isaiah chapter 2, verse 13. And upon all the cedars of Lebanon that are high and lifted up.
So from verse 13 to verse 16, the Most High is kind of comparing the loftiness and the proud and the elevated pride of the nations that are going to be hiding in comparison to the cedars of Lebanon and all the high mountains on the earth. He's just kind of comparing the heights of these great trees and the heights of these mountains in comparison to the heights of the pride and ego of the ones the Most High and the angels are coming to destroy. So read verse 13 down.
And upon all the cedars of Lebanon that are high and lifted up, and upon all the oaks of Bashan, and upon all the high mountains, and upon all the hills that are lifted up, and upon every high tower, and upon every fenced wall, and upon all the ships of Tarshish, and upon all the pleasant pictures.
So the Most High is going to be destroying everything that's of renown, everything that's been built by these elites are going to be destroyed. Okay, read on.
Verse 17. And the loftiness of man shall be bowed down.
All pleasant pictures. They get off. They really get off to those high quality, high level art.
Mm-hmm. It's their art and their accomplishments.
Yeah.
Their building, their structures, everything of value. Yeah. You think the Eiffel Tower is going to still be here, or the Louvre? in France, where it's like 666 mirrors,
Oh,
in this triangle. You know it's 666 of them, right? It's pure devil. You think that stuff's going to sit back here? You think the Vatican will be standing once these angels come back down here? Nah. All these, the Eiffel Tower, that's getting burnt up too, bro. Yes,
I was gonna say that place where Muslims go to.
Oh yeah, that box, that black, Mecca. All those spots are getting wiped out, man. So let's read verse 17 again.
Come, verse 17 from the top. And the loftiness of man shall be bowed down, and the haughtiness of man shall be made low. And the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day.
To the Most High is sitting right here. This is the day that He's going to break pride. Real elitist pride. You know, your regular rapper ain't going to be in this situation. Right? This is, you know what I mean? The regular rapper that's been rapping for damn 10 years, that ain't enough, bro. You ain't going to be in these elite spots, bro. This is about the people who are really rich. Okay? The day of pride is going to change this day. Read on.
Verse 18. And the idols he shall utterly abolish.
He says the Most High is going to abolish and destroy all the idols that Esau has put together. What are his idols? His system of government, his religions, his banking system. These things are what he has idolized in this entire system. The whole system's getting shut down. Read on.
Verse 19. And they shall go into the holes of the rock.
So after the Most High in Christ destroys society and everything that gives them leverage and power, they're going to be in these holes running. Read on.
And into the caves of the earth for the fear of the Lord, and for the glory of his majesty, when he arises to shake terribly the earth.
When he comes back to shake the earth terribly, they're going to be underground hiding, but the Most High ain't going to forget them. Read, the hope is that they're forgotten, but that's not going to happen. Read on.
In that day a man shall cast his idols of silver and his idols of gold, which they made each one for himself to worship, to the moles and to the bats.
All those demonic spirits they gave themselves to, all the idolatry they gave themselves to, whether it was money, greed, lust, whatever the hell it is, they're going to set it aside and remember the true power that day. Remember the Heavenly Father that day. But how do you get people to listen? Strip their power and threaten their life. That's how people listen. Listen, we've been talking about this forever.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that gets proud people to listen. Take everything from them. Put them in fear. Read on.
Verse 21. Go into the clefts of the rocks and into the tops of the ragged rocks.
He says to go into the clefts of the rocks. He says, and into the tops of the ragged rocks. Read on.
For the fear of the Lord.
Those are some ragged rocks. Go hide in those places and see how it's going to look out for you. Okay? Read on.
And for the glory of his majesty, when he arises to shake terribly the earth.
God, read on.
Cease ye from man, whose breath is in his nostrils. For wherein is he to be accounted of?
He's letting us know, man, this time he's going at every person that breathes. How are you going to be accounted for, and what have you done when you are cornered? Okay? Let all that down and go back. No, not back yet. Let's go to Revelation 6. There's a lot of verses that say the same thing, man. I don't want to be repetitive, but I think it's important that we are. Revelation chapter 6, verse 15.
Come.
So you realize that everything fits together. Everything ties in. You might get different glimpses of the same image, but it's all saying the same thing. Revelation chapter 6, verse 15 through 17.
Covered. Revelation chapter 6 and verse 15 reads, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men.
Now, let you know even more, in Isaiah it said about the proud men, the lofty men. Now we're getting more specific with the kings of the earth. The kings of the earth aren't talking about the presidents. The kings of the earth are talking about the ones who actually make the moves, who make the decisions.
That control the president.
That control the president, that controls the Senate. Yes, sir.
Question. So when it says the kings of the earth, is that referencing those high value or those famous names?
No, the elites.
The elites.
The elites. When you sit back here and read in Job, the elites, you don't even know them.
Yep.
All these, everybody was saying, yeah, F Donald Trump and they're making songs about F Donald Trump. They talk about Bill Gates is a bad guy and Klaus Schwab, and they talk about who else do they talk about? Joe Biden, the Rockefellers, but they don't really. Those guys aren't the ones making the moves. There are elites that are behind the scenes pulling all the strings.
They're do boys.
Listen, when you sit back and you read about I'm gonna get you in 1 second. About back in the day, the owner of Chase Manhattan. This guy was running things back in the 40s, right? When he died, he only owned 10% of his estate. I was like, damn. If he owned 10%, who backed him? Who financed this guy?
J.P. Morgan.
Yeah, J.P. Morgan. That guy was like the mover and shaker of his time.
Yeah.
You couldn't get nothing done unless you went through him. But then when he died, he only had 10% of it is his? What the hell's going on? That means that even back in the 40s and 50s, these guys were shadow puppets, just doing what they're told by elites that have the greater position to make all the moves that's puppet mastering the whole scenario. Because what people don't tell you is J.P. Morgan and the banks were funding the Bolshevik Empire that was ran by Joseph Stalin, while simultaneously funding Hitler, while simultaneously funding the United States and Britain. It was the same people financing all the war. So it didn't matter who won, the money won. Whoever backed up and financed it all won.
Yep.
That's the deal. If you win, you got to pay the loser's finance balance. Yep. You know that, right? The winner has to pay the debt of the loser.
Yeah.
But who's they're paying the debt back to who? The banks. The real kings of the earth. And the funny thing is, these corporations are tied up so tightly, you don't know who really owns anything.
Right.
Yep.
You just say, oh, BlackRock is the wicked guy, or Vanguard is wicked. And that guy Fink is a horrible guy because he's making all the rich money. Listen, he is, but who are the guys that are pulling the strings? Who hired Fink to use the supercomputer to sit back here and work all these economical numbers together for him to keep making money and policy? Yes.
There was a guy that Central quoted that tried to trace all the names, and they ended up killing him.
Of course.
Yeah.
That means he got close. The point is, you ain't going to know who's pulling the true strings. But the kings of the earth are the ones, those are the people the Most High is smashing. Yes, sir.
I have a question. I seen a documentary on secret society, and these cats is invisible. Are they one of the ones that's considered the elite? Because even Esau is like pulling whistle blowing them that the top of them. What's the other one that's up there with the triangle?
You mean the Illuminati?
Yeah, they said they are above the Illuminati.
I just say, I don't like going using their words because every rapper from New York and LA talk about the Illuminati that got my mind, soul, and my body. That's all they listen. I'm like, listen, I don't hear that low level conspiracy thinking talk. Oh man, watch out for the Illuminati, son. They coming to get you, son. I'm not knocking you, but this is how our people be talking.
Right.
Now you see that you see the triangles, man. It's all that wickedness, man. That's wicked. That comes from the Illuminati, son.
And listen, all they're doing is they're just keeping the Babylonian system they had in ancient times. They're just keeping the same religion that was in Egypt, the same religion in Babylon. They're just doing the same religion in modern times.
I know you hit me for doing
Yeah,
the trial. I was trying to show. I was showing how stupid it was.
It's bad.
I am not. Listen, if you want to clip that one triangle, then go ahead, man. That's ridiculous.
It's just stupid.
But
People do that.
all we're saying is, we're not saying that they don't have groupings and they don't have affiliations, because the elites are the ones that are just splitting up the whole world in a big pie and getting different pieces of the pie. And these world wars, when these wars are all about fighting over who gets this part of the pie and who gets that part of the pie. So the elites are the ones who are still pulling the strings. I just don't like using the Illuminati word because that's just everybody wants to use that.
Yeah.
And just say that's what it is, but it's beyond the Illuminati. It's beyond that. Okay.
Like, so do you think that they're even beyond the Bilderberg meetings that they have?
Yes.
They're even behind that.
Yes.
Those are just their
secretary
representatives.
Yeah.
Yes. You can't. You think a regular cat like me, you can go and find out what's really going down?
No. You can get pictures? Nah, you can't have pictures of what's going on.
And then there was
Bohemian Grove.
Alex Jones, for example. Alex Jones back in like the 80s and 90s, he brought a video recorder and went to like the Bohemian Grove. But he was like, yeah, he talks like this. He's like, yeah. And went up there and I saw Danny Glover and Clint Eastwood. I'm like, oh, come on, that ain't nothing, bro. That's all you saw? Danny Glover and Clint Eastwood act? That's low on the totem pole act. Now we know why Danny Glover got the Predator movies act and Color Purple act. Now we know that. But that's not telling us those guys aren't the elites. Okay? Those guys are regular dudes, movie stars and actors. That's nothing compared to the real people.
The devil's not. That's it.
Exactly. They're playing the game, doing their negative process to get to where they have to get. But there's elites above that. Yeah. Even at that Bohemian Grove, he said they were different levels. You had your regular folks, and then further up in the forest, you couldn't get to. All I'm saying is to try to discover all their names and everything, it's a waste of energy. Just know the real wicked, you can't see them. The real wicked, they're not on television. Nope. So Bill Gates, who owns all that farmland in the United States, does he really own it? Nope. Or his overlords own it in his name? Which is in a corporation name. Yep. Which means you don't really know who is also part of that corporation. He's just a face man. Like I said, when I sat back and saw J.P. Morgan had all these businesses, even his bank, the bank, Chase Bank, he only had 10% ownership in it. Like, what the hell? And who really runs it?
Because even like those foundations, the Bill Gates Foundation specifically, that particular foundation doesn't have to disclose who their donors are.
There you go.
So like a 501c3, you have to disclose who's donating what's your call. But in that, I forgot what branch it was, but that particular foundation, that private foundation, nobody has to know. The government can't even know who's donating that money.
Yeah.
So everything's in secrecy.
And then AIPAC.
Oh yeah, man.
AIPAC is a governmental agency that is Jewish ran and owned. And you look up, all the major senators of the United States gets major funding from AIPAC.
Yeah.
Right. $200,000, $300,000, $400,000. Each of these government officials are making big money, and you wonder why every bill gets passed to send weapons to Israel. Yep. Weapons always are getting passed. They said Benjamin Netanyahu had the loudest standing ovation ever at the Senate floor. Why? Because all the senators,
he broke his own record. Yeah, the first one was in like 2015 or something like that.
He broke his own record of a standing ovation in the Senate hall. Why are they standing up long as hell clapping? Because everybody's getting paid to do it. Yeah. They're going to sit back and thumbs up anything that has to do with Israel because they're AIPAC. They tell you this. When you become a United States Senator or a Congressman, you are assigned an AIPAC handler. And they sit back here and they're responsible for showing you the ropes while giving you whatever cash you need to take care of you. Yeah. For a price. You're going to have to swing vote how they want you to swing it. If not, because they got a handler, they know you're dirt. Yeah. That's also part of the handling thing. They know they know when you messed up and how you messed up and what you into.
You got to report.
And they're gonna dangle that. Hey, we got you on film, bro. Why do you think guys like Epstein are there?
Exist.
They don't tell you that lady that was with Epstein. Right. She was Mossad. She was Mossad. Right. Mossad is Israel intelligence. Wow. It lets you know that, right? So now you know where it goes and why all the cameras are there. Why these senators are getting Diddy? You think Diddy learned it, or you think he's made that up? Nah. Diddy learned from the best. He just is a brother. You can't. There's only so much you can do. You can't blackmail white folks. You think you will sit back here and get away with that?
No.
You might be able to deal with the rap underworld. You can get that shit. I can get the brothers. You ain't getting white folks.
They own the government.
You gonna did it the white man? You please. You ain't dealing the white man out.
They own it all.
They did you. They did. How about that? They did. Hey, you know that when he got that Ciroc deal, he tried to sit back here and get out the Ciroc deal and sue him to get his own
Spirits.
Yeah, spirits. And they got him. All of a sudden,
everything came down.
All of a sudden, the feds come down on him. This is what happens. Same thing happened with Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby wanted to sit back here and get his hands on buying a television station.
Oh yeah,
they hit him. They gave him they honeypotted him. They brought some information from the 80s they had on him, and then they let him out of jail. You know that, right? They said the investigation was false.
But do it again.
But do it again, and it's going to stick. He was in jail for 2 years.
Yeah.
Because he extended a little too far. Listen now, you better stick with your Jello pudding pops and sit your ass down. That's as far as you going with the pudding pops. You better keep it with that and sit down and stop trying to do what we're doing. It's the truth. So all that stuff. Listen, Epstein's number one girl was Mossad, and they had information on everybody. So now they got you honeypotted, caught you red-handed. You got to do what you're told. They're going to give you bread, and they got you on camera. They were just... I ain't sitting down. I ain't the first one to sit down. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Don't sit down.
I ain't sitting down for nothing.
You lose it all. You sit down.
That's my point. You're going to lose it. You're going to lose it all. This is how they get you. Anyway, the ones that can make you clap for 15 minutes. Those are the ones the Most High is coming to get. The money behind it. The enforcement behind it all is who the Most High is coming to destroy. Because they're destroying lives. They're manipulating people. They manipulate the entire system to work the elites' way.
The starving nation.
These shadow governments that nobody knows about. And these elites that keep people starving, keep people hungry, keep them dependent on their next move. Okay?
Yeah.
So, let's go 6 and 15 again, Revelations.
Come. Revelations chapter 6, verse 15 reads, "And the kings of the earth and the great men."
The great men of influence, not great people. The affluent men. Read on.
"And the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains."
So these bondmen and freedmen are your military. And they're your security. Because they're still going to have military and security guards taking care of all the do-boy work. You got to have cooks. Somebody got to fry some chicken underground out. Somebody got to do it. Somebody got to sit back and do all that work. They're going to be down there with the elites, scared as hell. Read on.
Verse 16. "And said to the mountains and rocks, Fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne."
So the people are like, I'd rather die under these mountains than face what's coming through these doors. That's how scary and how fearful it's going to be. Give me death and an earthquake and suffocation and these angels on these horses that are menacing and spewing fire out of whatever the hell they're spewing fire out of. Okay, read on.
"And from the wrath of the Lamb."
Read on.
"For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand?"
Nobody. But you see how Revelation 6 ties in with Isaiah 2. It ties in with Joel 2. They all tie in saying the same thing. Okay? Let that go and go to Joel chapter 2, verse 7.
Joel chapter 2, verse 7.
I might go over this faster than I thought, man. Might be a short class. Read that.
Joel chapter 2, verse 7. They must run like mighty men.
He says, they shall run like mighty men. Read it again from the top.
Joel chapter 2, verse 7. They shall run like mighty men.
So what he's saying, these angels on these chariots are going to be running like mighty men. Read on.
They shall climb the wall like men of war.
And they must be getting off these chariots and climbing them just solo dolo. This is like getting off these chariots and climbing these walls, and they're going to get in there.
This is an angelic invasion.
This is
They're
literally
dismounting.
an angelic invasion.
They're dismounting.
Yep.
And they're going through their proper steps and channels to get within their military.
They're going to their military. It tells you about that. They stay in their ranks.
Yeah.
They're prying through doors.
They're structured.
They're trying to find ways to get into the door with fire, any means necessary, bro.
Esau has his elite special forces. Mosai has his elite special forces.
Done. So they're getting there. They're going to sit back and figure a way into all these establishments.
Exactly.
All of these rock establishments that are impenetrable.
It's impenetrable, but you know they've definitely made sure it's secure as they can make it. As mankind can
Hell
make
yeah.
it. They're making it secure as they can.
Hell yeah.
They do not want to deal with the angelic beings. So they're doing everything in their power. They have steel walls that are like, I would say miles thick.
Well,
I would say miles thick, but I'm saying as far as
that's like hardcore.
I know.
Miles.
I'm exaggerating.
Miles thick.
I'm
like,
exaggerating.
Come on,
I'm exaggerating. But they don't have no.
Very thick.
They don't have, they're not like going to like an apartment complex. You just kick the door down. It's not that either.
No, it's not. It's not. You're right.
They have a long, whatever depth it is, of yards and yards of stone and steel to block out the angels out.
Yeah. This is all real. It's scary, and it's coming to a city near you.
And this is the real doomsday.
It really is. This is real.
Doomsday.
Oh, you sit back and see all those mountain ranges. You'll be surprised throughout not just America, but through the world, how many of these mountain ranges are blown out from the inside. You'll be surprised. Like when I was in New Mexico, a lot of those vast mountain ranges in New Mexico, they're hollow from the inside. A lot of those missile silos, because these are some missile silo locations also. Because you still got military servicemen in these missile silos too that are going to get invaded.
Yep.
That's where when you
have hidden missile silos that people don't even know about.
I know, and a lot of them are in South Dakota, in Minot, South Dakota. They're in like I said earlier, in New Mexico, and they're all on the Appalachian Mountains. Yeah. They're all everywhere. The Colorado Mountains. Yes, Cheyenne, all of them. And then you got them in other countries in Russia too. They're in Russia. They're all around the world.
All around the world. It's not just an American thing. They're all thinking the same. They're all opposite. They
got the same temple.
They have different regions on Earth that they rule.
And they got their spots in Europe, in Britain. They got their spots set up in Italy. They got their spots in France. They got them in. They have them in Germany. They have them in the Rhine country. They got them in Russia. You name it. They have installments ready, hopefully, to keep people away.
They don't control the world for nothing. They don't have the world.
Oh, they have all these vast resources.
Yeah. They don't have all these vast resources. They don't even prepare for something like this.
Mm-hmm. And that's the point. So let's continue.
Joel 2:7. They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war.
Like soldiers in ranks. Read on.
And they shall march every one on his way.
They all have their responsibilities, their task, their mountain ranges, their cities, the countries they have to be assigned to, and the people that they have to corral. Read on.
And they shall not break their ranks.
Listen, they're not going to sit back here and lose discipline and composure and not fulfill the mission. The mission will be fulfilled. If they got to get X amount of Edomites out of these silos, they're getting them out. Because the goal, as we read later on, is not to just pick them up and throw them and kill them. That's not what's going to happen to these elites that are hiding in these bunkers and these safe houses. They're going to be picked up, gathered, and put in bondage. But we'll go into that later. Okay?
They'll be brought to judgment.
They're going to be brought. They're going to have to sit back and experience double of what they force us to experience based off their policies.
And they've been saying, for those that know, underground search about this supposed to be this big, tribunals. There's tribunals going to get all the wicked of the elite. You know, get all the tribunals.
Drain the swamp, right? They're talking that crap. Yeah, we got Hillary Clinton 2 years ago. Yeah, right. We took out Barack Obama.
They got ankle monitors on now. They're walking around. Oh, I'm arrested.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pictures show that.
Yeah, bro.
Phony pictures, but they got these tribunals going to bring all these bad guys and have them under a underground court, and they're going to get underground judgments. And they're going to replace these people with good guys. That's a cool fantasy, but this is the biblical version of that. There will be court.
Yep.
For the wicked.
Yep. Done. So let's continue.
Verse 8. It says, neither shall one thrust another, neither shall they walk every one in his path. They shall walk.
They'll be like, oh, save me, bro. Just you kill me so I don't have to experience this. Just shoot me. So I want to do with Christ.
Well, but it's just saying, it's read verse 8 from the top again.
Verse 8, Joel 2 and 8. Neither shall one thrust another.
So what it's saying is, the people that once they finally break in, they're not going to sit back here and kill these angels. They're not going to prevail. They're not going to sit back here and have the right weapon to burn or kill them. And they find out how to do it like in a damn ID4. They find out how to kill the aliens. And then they sat back here and they ransacked them and the good guy won. No, man. It's not going to. None of these angels are going to get thrust through.
You're not going to eat some poison and not experience this. I don't want to experience this. You're not going to avoid judgment.
Well, that too. But yeah. But let's keep going.
They shall walk every one in his path.
It's still talking about the angels walking in their path and fulfilling their assignments. Read on.
It says, and when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded.
What it means is when they get shot at, they're not going to get wounded. When they get attacked, it's not going to drop them. There's nothing that the military, the trained guards, the Blackwater trained, what do you call them? Mercenaries. Yeah. There's nothing they can do. They're going to shoot them. They're going to get headshots, body shots, what do you call them? Center mass shots. It ain't going to work. You can get all the knives you want. You can do close action. Whatever you want to do, it's not going to work. Okay? Read on.
They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall.
Listen, man, they're going to run to and fro through the city. They'll be looking for where all these people are hiding. Different bands, different groups. I'm going from city to city, locale to locale, finding everybody that's hiding, that's running from judgment. Read on.
They shall climb upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief.
He says they're going to come in the windows like a thief. Whatever structure you got to seal up your location, they coming through. Just imagine the fear and terror waiting for them to get in the doors where you're at. The fear and terror that's waiting before they get you. Just the anticipation of being snatched is going to be driving people crazy. God, the anticipation of death is worse than what? Death itself. Okay, are we done with that verse? No, not yet. Give me Jeremiah 16 and 16. Jeremiah chapter 16 and verse 16.
God. Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 16. Behold, I will send for many fishers.
So he says, there's going to be a time that the Most High is going to want fishers of men to be on earth. Teachers, counselors, communicators, ensamples, good leadership. This is the time for fishers right now. Teaching, counseling, showing love, listening, working with your people, considering your people, giving Israel a second, third, fifth, 30th chance, counseling here and there. There's going to be a time for fishers. Because the scripture says we're supposed to be fishers of what? Men. Teachers. We have to sit back here and figure out what bait is good to bring this brother in or this sister in, or what does this person need to be encouraged to serve the Most High better. There's a time for fishers. Read on.
Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. And after
the fishing process is done. Because you can tie this up with Revelation chapter 7 where it says, hurt not the air and the sea until my 144,000 are sealed. Then the destruction can come. So he's like, during the time when we're still gathering and teaching and people haven't completed their decision on what they want to do, like right now, we better be accumulating as much good works as possible. This is the time of fishing. Either we're teaching, we're rehearsing the righteous acts. That's what this time is. Hold this. Go to Judges 5 and 11.
Judges chapter 5, verse 11. Let me read.
1 second. Let's get it. Okay, read that.
Judges 5 and 11. They that are delivered from the noise of the archers in the places of drawing water.
Hey, listen. It says, they that are delivered from the noise of archers. Do archers make noise?
Wow.
When you sit back here and you shoot a bow and arrow, does it make a whole bunch of thumping? Do? No. No. But when you tie this concept in with what Job 20 talks about, and Job 20 talks about the bow is metal. And the arrows created fire. So if we look at it that way, then you're sitting back here reading these scriptures and read verse 11 again.
Judges 5 and 11. They that are delivered from the noise of archers.
The individuals that are delivered from the thermonuclear destruction. Because that's what the noise of the archers really is. The destruction that comes from these bombs that are dropping around the world. Read on.
In the places of drawing water.
The drawing water is the places of drawing philosophies, drawing knowledge and understandings. So the people that are delivered from these bombs are the ones that were sitting in these places of drawing influence and knowledge. Read on.
There shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord.
In order to be delivered from the noise of these archers, in order to be delivered from the thermonuclear destruction, we have to rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord. And that means we're teaching, we're counseling, we're sacrificing for one another. We're constantly reminding ourselves to not be selfish, to be selfless, to consider the next man, consider the next sister, consider your children, consider your family, consider the brothers the Most High has given us, the sisters the Most High has given us to love and consider. This is what we should be doing before the noise of the archers takes our place. And this place of drawing waters, the challenge is not to let these other worldly philosophies and these worldly approaches dominate us. Read on.
Even the righteous acts toward the inhabitants of his village in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Then shall the people of the Lord go down to the gates.
Okay, so what he's just letting us know is this is what we should be doing while the time of fishing is here. We have to collect our works and gather our works, teaching, sacrificing, studying, committing ourselves to as much of a spiritual lifestyle as we possibly can in order to put enough works and commitment for the Most High in Christ to honor us. What's that?
I have a question. The righteous acts is what we're going through right now.
Well, the righteous acts is a choice. Because we ain't always doing righteous acts.
Right. But my question is this. It's going to be a time when you're not going to have a chance to do it. Doesn't there's a scripture that talks about the potter, the door shall be closed, where when men won't be able to come in and out, and the Most High is going to close that door, like that potter. It talks about a potter. I just need to know, is there a scripture like
I don't. Now, on top of my head, I can't think of the potter.
where actually it says that's it.
I don't.
You had your chance to come in and out, and once that door be closed, there's not going to be no more class. It's not going to be there. It's going to actually be.
I'm not saying it's not there, but I haven't read it. Or as far as the potter part. But what I do know, there is going to be a time where there's not going to be time to make any more changes. Either you did it, you lived it, or you didn't live it. They really going to boil. You committed your. It isn't necessarily about the works or how you think. Because when it boils down to it, you have to have a set of works. Your mind has to measure up with the life you lived. Is my mind tied into my works? Are they all one and the same? Or was I this person that wore fringes and garments, but I was a taken dirtbag person? Did I sit back and come to class constantly, but I sat back and took advantage of people? Did I use the scriptures that I had to justify my lust? What type of person were you? Have we earned this chance to be purged in the wilderness? Because we said haven't gotten there yet.
We were with the men. We had an issue with every brother. We were arguing and fighting and fussing the whole time and having hearts filled with hatred and filled with rage.
Do you think that's going to be sufficient to please everybody?
You're almost wasting time, bro. If you don't change that,
almost you are wasting time.
I'm just trying to be light with it.
Let's be honest with you. Listen, everything is escalating. The war in Russia is escalating. The war, I don't know if people watching, Israel is going crazy right now. They're sitting back here bombing Hezbollah. They're genociding Gaza in the south of them. They're bombing Hezbollah north, and they're just waiting for Iran to come in. This is about to be a 3-tiered war in the Arab world against Israel. America's going to have to come in. All of this is escalating to the end. I can't give you a time because by the grace of the Heavenly Father, this process has been slow. This the World War III that we are in, has been going on for many years. It's been a slow-played war. But even in World War I, World War II was the same way. There was wars in Europe before it hit United States. World War I was that way. World War II was that way. World War III is that way. It just hasn't hit the United States yet. It's coming. So while we're sitting back and like Daria said, we don't know how to sit back and love our brother. We want to argue and snap about the most minute, ridiculous things. What really matters is these bombs are on their way. And the time of fishing is about to end. The time of 1,000 councils is about to end. The time of listening to vent sessions and emo sessions is about to end. The time is coming where you either know this and you're going to give yourself to this or you're not. And the Spirit's going to move away from you. So, Jeremiah 16 and verse 16.
Come. Jeremiah chapter 16 and verse 16. Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters.
Now, hunters are coming. And these hunters are these angels. These hunters are coming. And they're doing their job. They're going to sit back here and pull out these elites and snatch them up all around the world. Okay? The time of the hunters. Read on.
And they shall hunt them from every mountain.
From every mountain. Read on.
And from every hill. And out of the holes of the rock.
You see how it's all talking the same thing. Isaiah talks about the people hide into the mountains and rocks. Jeremiah talks about it. We're going to read about Amos talking about it. Joel talks about it. Revelation talks about it. They're all saying the same thing. Okay? Let that verse go in Jeremiah 16. And give me Amos chapter 9. Verse 2 and 3.
Amos chapter 9, verse 2.
Let me get there real quick, so. Read it. So what matter for that? Let's give me. Shoot. Read it.
Amos chapter 9, verse 2. Though they dig into hell, thence shall my hand take them.
They're gonna dig. Listen, what do you think it takes to even set up these bunkers? You got to dig into the earth, because this hell is in Hebrew is Sheol, which is the earth. So they're gonna dig into the earth. Though they dig in the earth and they secure their spots. Read on.
Though they dig into hell, thence shall my hand take them.
He says the Christ's hand is going to take these people in these holes, in these mountains, through his angels that know their responsibility. Read on.
Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down.
So what is it letting you know? These elites also, some of them are going to try to sit back here and get in their spaceships.
And dip.
And I'm not, listen, I'm not, I don't know about no Mars stuff, but they gonna get in their little stratosphere, because there's 7 different atmospheres in the earth. There's 7 different atmospheres. So they can sit back here and get a space shuttle and just get up in one of the higher atmospheres and post up and try to get away from the angels that way. So he's telling you the reason that we're going into it, because the verse is saying, hey, when they go up in the air, we're going to get them in the air.
They've been talking about space hotels from Richard Branson for a minute.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, space hotels. You have to have this much money to even go to a space hotel. They've been talking about for a good 5 years.
Space hotels.
Yeah, space.
I know that SpaceX with, what's his name?
Yeah, but the Richard Branson in particular was the one that was pushing space hotels.
Well, Musk was doing he had his little, for the elites, you can sit back here and go to space for a minimum, for a damn fee.
Yeah, Virgin Galactic. Launching a new space age where all are invited for the ride. But it's really for the elite. But Virgin Galactic is they're trying to make out of space travel
a thing.
Traveling to hotels in space and living in space. They think that's what they're pushing.
Yeah. So listen. So there are space stations.
Yeah.
So they're going to sit back here and put people in space stations and try to get away from.
Space bunker. That's a space bunker. Right?
Shoot it to me, man. I got to put it on. We got to put it online. I want to see this. The brother got a space bunker. You got to like airdrop it or something, or email it to me. The isbhpk one. Yeah, I need to see it, man. Everybody, hold on 1 second. I want to kind of see this space bunker. Come on, y'all. People are watching, man. The people want to know, right?
It's sort of truth, right?
No, I said isbhpk.
Okay, I got you. Sent off.
Okay. Listen, it's important enough. Just give us a second or two. I think this one would hit. There it goes. Okay. I don't know. We'll see. Nope. It hasn't even come out yet. It's isbhpk at Yahoo.
Yeah, I had sent.
I'm just making sure. It takes time sometimes. So listen, read that verse again. Verse 2 in Amos.
Amos chapter 9, verse 2. Though they dig into hell.
So they're digging into hell. They're going as far as they can underground to set these bunkers up. Like I said, the one we're showing online is very clear that they're going as deep as possible to make this thing shake.
Read on.
There it goes. Okay, I got it. Well, keep going. Keep reading the verse. It's like it.
Though they dig into hell, thence shall my hand take them. So they climb up to heaven.
Here we go. They climbing up to heaven.
The billionaire who wants to open a hotel on the moon in 50 years will have trips there. This is a common business from something called El País. The versatile British businessman has opened a luxury establishment in Spain, and now is dreaming of how to open another one beyond the earth. And he mentions Elon Musk, Bezos, billionaires. He said he has a great fortune, valued $3 billion in Forbes. Is light years away from reaching his competitors. But no doubt, the London-born Branson wants to know how to compete to get media attention. Bottom line, he's promoting the space travel.
Listen, so we're getting it. We're showing.
Hotel.
Listen, my water sent us like the white apple eye. It's like a white apple eye. I don't know what the hell it is. It's a white it's like a propane tank, like space unit right here. I don't want this one. Give me the fact. There's another one that's fancier.
You see the one I seen?
I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna shoot them out. But these are space station living quarters. Listen, this is for like Ashton Kutcher and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's a low level too.
It's an inflatable space. It's like a blow up mattress.
Okay, let me sit back here and send this other one, man. That red one was fire.
You see the one I sent you?
I'm looking at the red one.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
I was like, I would buy that one for $1. Here it is. This is fire.
You gotta be held up.
You just gotta change the carpet though, B. We'll be alright. Change the carpet, and we can do this in space. Right? That's fire. But the angels are coming right up in there.
They're busting through.
So what good is it when the angels are gonna be sitting back here, busting through all this fanciness out? This is scary. It looks fire, and if you got the bread, heck yeah. Yeah, that is fifth element right there. Right? And this is like aliens. Right? This is awesome. Right? They're growing vegetation up in the sky. Right? Esau's sitting back here making this luxurious as hell. Right? So read verse 2 again.
Amos chapter 9, verse 2. Though they dig into hell, thence shall my hand take them.
So the angels are going to sit back here and get Esau in the middle of the earth, all comfy and cozy. Read on.
Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down.
So listen, the angels are going to come bust through all of these little man-made space station housing. He's going to come up there too. Read on.
And though they hide themselves in the top of Carmel.
In the top of Mount Carmel, which is one of those Northern Kingdom major mountain ranges that Elijah sat back here and battled the 400 prophets of Carmel. He's like, Carmel is obviously high. He says, people are going to hide themselves in Mount Carmel on these major mountain ranges. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna change anything. Read on.
I will search and take them out thence. And though they hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea.
There's going to be stations in the middle of the ocean, whether it's talking about literal submarine stations, submarines, or literal cities underwater that they built to hide from Christ. All these things are going to be done in the water, in space, underground. All of it's happening, and none of it's going to work. Okay, read on.
Thence will I command the serpent, and he shall bite them.
Listen, whether he's sitting back here going to send Leviathan to run them up out of the water, he might do that. That's scary as hell. He has some damn Godzilla creature out coming from the ground. Brr, brr. Listen, busting up the damn the machines and submarines. You get the hell out of there. Right? You don't go up topside, and guess who's waiting for you topside? It's a double loss. But this is all in the Bible. All of this is in the Bible. Okay? Said multiple times, just from different perspectives. I want to keep saying that because we're not adding anything or adding verses or just talking out of the top of our heads. This is actually going to happen. Let all that go and go to Jeremiah 16 and verse 17.
Jeremiah 16 and verse 17. For my eyes are upon all their ways. They are not hid from my face.
He says this, the Most High sees every plan, every constructional design. We're going to sit back here and go up in the stars, on the earth, in the water. He sees everything, and nobody's going to hide from judgment. Okay? Doesn't matter how much money you have, how many great plans you got. We're gonna all roll snake eyes. For everybody who was living wicked and manipulating and taking advantage of the poor are going to feel this. Okay? Let that verse go and go to Job 21 and 27.
Job chapter 21 and verse 27.
And this is the third class we've had. And all this is scary news. Am I right or wrong? But when we're hearing about the kingdom, everybody talks about how it's going to be glorious and fun. It's going to be scary damn times. Before we get to the fun part, there's going to be a lot of fear and loathing in the world. This is not going to be easy. This is not going to be an easy scenario. We haven't even gone into like the wars and rumors of wars leading up to the bombs coming. That's a level of stress in itself. We're just going on. All we focus on these last 3 weeks is when the bombs happen, what Christ does on his part after the bombs, and how the angels are coming at the elite. There's way more to this. Like I said, y'all, this is a time, this is why we have to operate with discipline, circumspectness, learn how to do without, because you're going to need all those abilities when it really matters. Okay? This is underground bunker. I might have to try this one. No, that's not underground. Is it? I mean, underwater bunker. That looks like a damn hut in, up in the islands or something like that. Huh? It does.
Mount Dove's Island.
They got submarines out underground.
I believe that. I just, this is some damn Clockwork Orange stuff. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. It looks like it could be like a steamhead bunker. I don't know for sure. But you guys use your imagination, yo. Read Job 21 and 27.
Job chapter 21 and verse 27. Behold, I know your thoughts and the devices which ye wrongfully imagine against me.
The Most High knows all of our devices, all of our escape hatches, all of our plan Bs, all of our in case of an emergency do this. He knows all of those wrongful imaginations through Esau's science, through his military industrial complex. He knows all of it. Okay? Let that verse go and jump to Job 22, verse 5 through 10.
Job chapter 22, verse 5. Is not thy wickedness great and thine iniquities infinite?
He says your iniquities are infinite. This is why these angels are going to come down here and execute the amount of judgment that they have to execute. He says Esau and the power and the elites, he says their iniquities are infinite. This is how you know when you read this. It's like he has allowed Esau to run its course for so long. Generation after generation have wiped out innocent people. Generation. The people of the Far East, people of Africa, the people of the indigenous tribes, people of North, Central, and South America. They've wiped out millions upon millions of people. Their innocent blood is sitting back here as a record of their wickedness. He says their iniquities are infinite. Read on.
For thou hast taken the pledge from thy brother for naught.
So he says he's taken a pledge from thy brother for naught. What is a pledge for? To make sure you pay me what you owe me. He says you're sitting back here taking pledges for nothing. You're just taking and holding on to everything you can for no justifiable reason. Whether that's banking interest or how they sit back here and just operate their governmental policies. Nobody gets a break. You got to give up your coat. You got to give up what matters to you just for you to survive. Just as collateral for them before they even loan anything from you. Read on.
Verse 6. For thou hast taken a pledge from thy brother for naught, and stripped the naked of their clothing.
Exactly. These policies have been set up to where the people have nothing to sustain themselves. They just have enough to eat, survive, and get up and work and slave to pay these bills they got. These bills that are mounting constantly.
And he robs the elderly.
He robs the elderly.
Yeah, nothing. They pay a house off. They still gotta pay bills.
And we're talking about in America where we're struggling, but it's nothing like these third world countries. You think this is bad? What about Haiti? Yeah. You don't even have clean water out there. That's what this is really talking about. The people in Central America, people in Africa, people in the listen. I don't know if we talked about this over different times. There's these like water cities out there, and it's just nothing but trash in these water cities out there. Yeah. It's the worst thing ever, man. The amount of disease. These people are sitting back here walking on wood that's above this dead water that doesn't move, and there's just mountains of trash floating in the water. It's nothing but disease, excrement, human waste, all around this water. This is life for these people, and they're fishing out of the same water area that's got poop and trash and infection, dirty diapers. Like, what the hell is this?
And they bathing in it.
Yes, because there's nothing. This is life. I think off the coast of Madagascar, also in the Far East, like these people are living in below deplorable living standards. This is the world as a whole. More people living like that than like us. You sit back here and go to Central America and see how they live. When I went out there, I saw, brother, it's the same damn chicken. It was the same damn chicken for like a week straight.
Yeah.
Just hanging out in the market out.
Yeah.
Nobody had the bread to eat it or pick it up. It's flies on it. The meat's hanging. It turned yellow. I'm like, I don't know if this is good to eat. I don't know how long you cook this. I don't think it's going to work out good for your stomach. This is how it is. Children are begging tourists every day. I was out there for like a week and a half, bro. I was getting hit every day, man. The first couple days is cool. I got a couple quarts. Every day is like, man, I ain't got it, bro. And they're sitting there like, no, you got it. Please, please, please. I'm like, bro, I don't have it. But this is every day. This is their life. But this is all set up by these elites to have these extreme poor and rich, not splitting the money enough to take care of the people. In Guatemala, there's like 8 ruling families that run the whole thing, and their overlord is the United States government, and they got to give them a cut of what their profits are, and the people are just screwed over. This is all around Central and South America. The wealth gap is horrible.
There's a job in India. I seen it. There was a documentary. It's the lowest of the low job. The people are so poor there. There's an actual job where they have to actually jump in sewer. I'm not talking about the sewers, like sewer water up to the top. When they come out of the water, there is poop all over their eyes, and this is their job. They have to do every day to get a little bowl just to go pawn it to pay to get some rice. I saw this. I mean,
and there's no scuba gear. There is no stuff for your face.
The water like 8 feet.
How can you see?
It's called. It's in Mumbai, India. It's called the Ravi slums. It says they live in about 6 to 8% of the entire area, and about 21 million people live in that area. So roughly, it's about 6 kilometers of land. I don't really know how much that would be, but it says because the reason why they have to jump in the sewage is there's so much excrement on the floors. It says about. I did it in school, so I have it all written out. It says it's one toilet for every 1,470 people.
One toilet?
Yes.
For every 1,800 people?
1,500 people is one toilet. And they drop 1 million pounds of excrement in the street a year.
On the street?
On the street. Because it's either in the street or in the sewage or in the water. And they drink from that water. So you have to make a decision.
What city is that?
It's Mumbai, India. Yeah.
So it's on the flow, man. It's on the
flow. If you see a picture of it, it's literally like you see the main city with all the big buildings, and it looks like fancy. And they have a wall separating from the lighter color
poop town.
India, and the poop town is where they're all congregating at. Yeah.
And the messed up thing is, this is why countries like India still have to do the United States bidding, because they have to do deals with these countries so they can feed their people. This is why China be sitting back here like, I don't like these policies, but we got to feed our people. We have too many millions of people that we got to take care of. And if we don't do business with these guys, all these folks don't eat. So it's like they have to make the deal with the devil to sustain the people on the most basic level. If not, their nation can't sustain themselves.
That's crazy.
And this is, you read it later on about how the beast, when they fall, the rest of the nation, like, man, how the hell are we going to be able to sustain ourselves after this man falls and this system falls? Okay? So, where are we at in Job?
Verse 7.
Read on.
Job chapter 22 and verse 7.
But this chapter kind of gives understanding. Actually, 20, 21, 22 gives you understanding about why these elites got to fall, why this system has to be collapsed and turned over to Christ. Read on.
Job chapter 22, verse 7. Thou hast not given water to the weary to drink.
Listen, the United States could have went to Haiti and fixed a water system like this. The United States could go to damn Flint and fix the water in Flint. They still haven't done that. The so-called white men can go to all these different cities in the United States and take care of the homeless issues, but they don't do it. They can go to all these third world countries and sustain these people economically. There's a lot of people that have issue with water. Listen, you ever see like you go through the mall and they got like Tom's shoes, and Tom's shoes is Tom's shoes, and they always say, yeah, if you buy these raggedy, whack-looking shoes, let me stop.
Hipster shoes.
You'll sit back here and you'll give these little people, these Malaysian folks, some water to drink. Like, what the hell's going on? They can't get their own water. How come their governments can't do it? And then how come United States Big Brother can't come and send a proper infrastructure to take care of them? Because they don't want to do it. But they'll help the Ukrainians who don't have problems with running water. Because there's natural resources that they need to extract from Ukraine, and they ain't nothing they can get out the deal going to Malaysia and fixing their water problem. But he's telling you on a geopolitical level that the powers that be, these elites, don't take care of these people with the water. They don't give them good water, clean water, food. That these people are hungry and destitute and struggling. Read on.
Right. It says, and thou hast withholding bread from the hungry.
This is why Esau got to fall. Because at the top, everybody's good, and at the bottom, too many people are suffering. And it's not just the black man in America. You got to look at things big picture. The entire world is suffering. These people in Gaza have no water, no food, no way to sustain themselves, and they're getting wiped out by the day. And nobody talks enough about it. Read on.
Verse 8. But as for the mighty man, he had the earth, and the honorable man dwelt in it.
Mm-hmm.
Thou hast sent widows away empty.
Thou hast sent widows away empty. Read on.
And the arms of the fatherless have been broken.
When it says the arms of the fatherless have been broken, meaning their own ways to sustain themselves have been cut off.
Yep.
They haven't allowed the fatherless any ability to sustain themselves.
They destroyed their methods and approaches to win.
To survive it. And they sit back here and create an infrastructure in a city or a country that the people aren't trained enough to sustain. So they have to hire out-of-town workers to work a job that the indigenous people aren't trained enough to do. That's how you break the arms of the fatherless. You don't even give me an opportunity to sustain myself. So when you do that, this is when crime increases. This is when hopelessness increases. Drug addiction increases. This is what they did to Gad. They sat back here and put Gad in infertile land when they knew how to sit back here and farm to sustain themselves. They put him in infertile land and then gave him alcohol. That's what they did. They took him out of the fertile land where they could sustain themselves, and they put him in a place where they were forced to operate with handouts. They broke their spirit. This is how they've done all around the world.
All that saved Gad was those
casinos.
Those casinos. That was
and then that doesn't go to everybody. Everybody doesn't get those money. They might say it does, but I bet you if you ask them, everybody doesn't receive that equally. They just don't. This is how you break all these nations. Let's keep going.
Verse 10. Therefore, snares are round about thee.
Because the elites have set up these scenarios to break the people, the Most High is going to set up these snares around them. Read on.
And sudden fear troubleth thee.
When these chariots come, when these angels and chariots come, and these horses, that's when the fear is going to hit them. Okay? Now give me verse... give me Job 20. Job 20, verse 15. And then 19 through 29.
Job chapter 20 and verse 15. He has swallowed down riches.
And listen, Esau has been swallowing down riches since they reemerged as a Spanish empire in the 1500s. Read on.
And he shall vomit them up again.
All these riches that they've accumulated, all these natural resources that they've stolen and robbed and manipulated, they're going to vomit up all these riches back to Israel in a short period of time. Because what do you think? Where do you think all the gold is hidden? The gold is going to be hidden in these mountain ranges. Listen, the dollar don't have no value. You know that, right? The dollar is just paper. So you can float that all damn day long, but the real wealth is going to be in these bunkers. But they said in a short period of time, all that gold and all that riches are going to be switched over. And they're going to vomit up, being forced. That rich is going to be forced out of them very soon. Okay? Read on.
The Most High shall cast them out of his belly.
Mm-hmm. Read on. Read verse 19 down to 29.
Verse 19. Because he have oppressed and have forsaken the poor.
Keep saying the same thing. The reason that Esau got to fall, the reason the wicked have to fall, the elite have to fall, because they've forsaken the poor. It's the reason Israel fell is because we forsook the poor and the fatherless and the widow. And if we had to fall for that reason, you don't think they got to fall for that same reason? He just said, okay, you're going to have an infinite amount of iniquities before I completely discarded you. That's what he's saying. Read on.
Because he had violently taken away the house which he builded not.
He has violently taken away a house which he builded not. He came to America and had a bunch of forced labor to build this country up. He uses the indigenous people of every country that they invade to build up their infrastructure so they can make money off it and keep the people poor. I'll never forget that picture of these cobalt mines in like the Congo, where these little Hamite kids get sucked into this damn cave out, and there's like 15 of these kids in there, and there was a damn mudslide, and these older Africans had to fight to get these little kids out, and you thought it was like 2 or 3. Ended up being 15 kids stuck in this damn mountain, and they risk their life every day just to make enough money for some bread for the next day. But that's not just in the Congo. That's in the South. That's in Southeast Asia. That's in Central America. That's in South America. This is the system that the so-called white man, through his neo-colonialism, that's called neo-colonialism, that they've done all around the world. Read on.
Verse 20. Surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly.
He said, surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. What he's saying is, Esau's not going to be comfortable after all this wickedness he's done to the entire world. They're going to feel uneasy. They're going to feel paranoid. And the Most High is going to put that spirit of paranoia and fear on them because of all the wrongdoing that they're responsible for.
All of the deceit and destruction and taking advantage of people. That paranoia is a product.
Yep.
They get in return. That's anybody. Not just Esau. Our people too.
Yep.
Our people live in the spirit of deceit, live in the spirit of taking advantage of people. Most High puts an extreme spirit or this tempter of paranoia and fear and being scared of things.
Because their works deserve that.
Because they've been negative. Back in the 90s, it was gangbang. They would have this big, I gotta look over my shoulder. Then it was the drug dealers. I'm afraid I look over my shoulder. But it's anyone who touches negative, they're attracting that spirit of paranoia on them.
Yep.
That's from the Most High, bro.
Yep.
He's not giving you comfort and peace, and you operate in the spirit of deceit. He's not accepting that.
God. So read on verse 20.
Job chapter 20, verse 20. Surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. He shall not save of that which he has desired.
You're not going to save all those natural resources. You're not going to finally get Russia and China and dominate the entire world.
That's his dream.
His dream is, they call it full spectrum domination. And they want to sit back here and have complete control of all the natural resources on Earth. That's what they've wanted. The only 2 countries they do not have complete control over is Russia and China. Because you're not going to get what you desire. You're not going to get everything that you want. You're going to get close to it. He's going to take it away. Read on.
Verse 21. There shall none of his meat be left.
And none of his resources are going to be left once Christ comes back. Everything he worked for is going to get turned back over to us. Read on.
Therefore shall no man look for his goods in the fullness of his sufficiency. He shall be in strength.
He says, in the fullness of his sufficiency is when he's going to be in trouble as a nation. Right now, America is on top. But in the fullness of their dominating globally is when their problems start. They're sitting back here, trying to sit back here and send a kill shot to Russia, which will decapitate China. But that's going to reverse on them and blow back on them. It's going to be the beginning of their fall. They didn't sit back here when they started putting sanctions on Russia in 2022. They didn't think that Russia would turn around and get 3/4 of the world to economically back Russia's new monetary system and trading. They didn't think that was going to happen. They thought, like every other country, when you sanction them, they're going to fall apart. They're going to sit back here and oust Vladimir Putin, and then they'll take Russia and break it up in 20 provinces.
Because it has been working.
It's been working through the whole time. Nobody has had the military capability to match wits with them, and financially circumvent their sanctions. Nobody's done that. So when it says in the fullness of their sufficiently, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Now everything's backfiring on them. Now they're in straits. Now the American dollar's about to drop. Now they're almost out of weapons. Now they're overextended all around the world, colonizing the rest of the world, but don't have the resource to keep this up. Their little brother Israel is pushing them into a full-fledged war that they really don't want to be a part of. Read on.
Every hand of the wicked shall come upon them.
Every hand of the wicked is going to come upon Esau. All the other wicked are going to turn against this wicked man and break him, like we read in Revelations. Read on.
Verse 23. When he is about to fill his belly.
When he is about to completely get control over the entire globe. Read on.
The Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating.
And this is what is about to happen. In the midst of Esau, midst of America, midst of NATO, eating and consuming all the natural resources from the entire globe, this is when the Most High is going to sit back and send his fury on him and eventually send these angels at them. Read on.
Verse 24. He shall flee from the iron weapon.
Esau, NATO is going to flee from that iron weapon. We went over this the first class 2 weeks ago about this iron weapon, which is the thermonuclear destruction, these thermonuclear bombs. Read on.
And the bow of steel.
That bow of steel is where these nuclear bombs are being shot from. Okay? Whether it's from these missile silos or from these planes or from these stationary locations where they just shoot them out from their machinery.
And submarines.
And submarines. God. Read on.
And the bow of steel shall strike them through.
The bow of steel shall strike the wicked nation. The nation that's responsible for the entire world being forsaken and poor and exploited. Read on.
25. It is drawn and cometh out of the body.
It cometh out of the body of the missile silo. These nuclear bombs are coming out of the body of the mountain, coming out of the body of these. I think I have it still. Do I have it? This is a form of that where it says it's coming out of this bow of steel. This is one example of it. Trying to find. This is the one I want though. That's the bow of steel I'm talking about. this boy of steel is on wheels, but they prop this son of a gun up, it's going to its destination. Okay? So read verse 24 again.
Job chapter 20 and verse 24. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through.
That bow of steel is going to strike him through with that iron weapon. Read on.
25. It is drawn and cometh out of the body.
It cometh out of the body, whatever mechanism that's used to lift it and guide it and shoot it. Read on.
Yea, the glittering sword cometh out of his gore.
It's a glittering sword because the back of it's shining. Okay? And it's a sword because it's a weapon.
Yeah.
It's just, I hope it makes sense. Read on.
Yea, the glittering sword cometh out of his gore. Terrors are upon him.
Terrors are about him because when you see it in the air, there's no stopping it. There's no missile defense that's going to stop the impact. Read on.
26. All darkness shall be hid in his secret places. A fire not blown shall consume him.
That fire wasn't blown by natural means. That fire wasn't blown and festered and manipulated like normal people that do fire. This is coming out of a steel metal device, and this fire is manufactured inordinately. That's what he's saying. It's jet propulsion, whatever physics is used to create the fire to get this missile out, is how it's happening. Read on.
It shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle.
In his city, in his location.
And it's a good point to notice because everybody has a course in life they're going to. Everybody you see, everywhere you go to, you on them chariots, you're marked for salvation, or you're marked for death. And it's what particular death? Is it the death of the bow of steel? Is it the death of starvation? Is it the death of the angelic beings coming and snatching you up? Is it the fire from God's coming down? Everybody has a quote-unquote death certificate based off their works. It's just which one are you going to die? You be the wicked of Israel, or are you going to be the one that goes to the wilderness and then you just can't get right with Christ and die? You were righteous enough to make it, but you weren't righteous enough to deal with Christ face to face because you didn't want to lock in.
And that's going to be later on as we go into our topics about the purging that happens when we get to this wilderness. That's another part of the kingdom. And once again, I haven't heard one fun part of the kingdom yet. I haven't heard where we're sitting back here drinking wine and we're smiling, we're playing music out, and we're dancing like we won,
the Death Star collapsed.
The Death Star, like I said, the Wookiees are dancing with their little staffs, with this weird, weird sounds out, weird Star Wars sounds. What's that?
That reminds me of that song, "We Are the Champions."
Yeah, there ain't no Queen being played out in the kingdom. Queen is not being played out. We will rock you. Pop box. Pop box.
Let's go.
It's not going to happen. Not yet. I'm not hearing anything about fun times yet. This is all scary stuff. And this is for the nations. The scary stuff for us is next week. We hear about our party. We ain't even got to our party. You're talking about the nations and their fall. Okay. Where are we at in Job 20?
In verse 27.
Read on.
Job chapter 20, verse 27. The heaven shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him.
Everything's going to go against Esau. Read on.
The increase of his house shall depart.
All of the riches that were accumulated for all the multiple generations of wealth.
And the fabulous.
All the generations of wealth. All the Fabergé eggs. All the fancy artifacts. He says he's going to depart. It's going to be transferred. Everything they worked for from generation to generation to generation is going to get destroyed, blown up, or just transferred in power. Read on.
The increase of his house shall depart, and his goods shall flow away in the day of his wrath.
The goods are going to flow away, transfer from him to the individuals who's going to sit back and be rich, just like in Egypt. Wasn't there a transfer of wealth when we left Egypt?
Yes.
We borrowed all the jewelry. Yeah. You got to do that. We borrowed it. Yeah, we borrowed. We kept it, you mean. But we kept the jewelry and we left rich. Okay? So this is going to be the same thing that happens. Read verse 29.
Verse 29. This is the portion of the wicked man from the Most High, and the heritage appointed unto him by the Most High.
The wicked, the ones who are really pulling the strings and setting the policies. Okay? We're going to let all that go and go to Jeremiah 16 and 18 real quick.
Time.
Jeremiah 16 and 18.
Jeremiah chapter 16 and verse 18 reads. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right. Reads. And first I will recompense their iniquity.
He says he's going to sit back here and pay back these schemers and plotters at the top level of Esau's regime. Read on.
And their sin double.
He's going to sit back here and make them suffer double for all the atrocities they have committed against the world. The Most High is just not sitting back here and looking at the atrocities of the black man and the black woman and not looking at how he's ruined lives globally. This is why he said in Job chapter 22 that their iniquities are infinite. They're infinite iniquities. That means all around the world they've been committing iniquities from the beginning.
Animals had to suffer. Earth had to suffer.
People all around the world had to suffer. Whatever tribe, nation you don't like, they had to suffer. It's still the Most High's creation. And they got to pay for it. The people who make the moves, the movers and the shakers, have to pay for it.
They know that, because they do to everybody else.
God.
They charge everybody else.
That's the point. So they got to suffer for everything they've done globally, even to their own people. Even to their own people. When you read about that Bolshevik revolution, 20 million Russians were killed. 20 million Russians were. That's a lot of Edomites gotten killed.
God.
Because other Edomites wanted them dead. That's a lot. I think I'm lowballing that number.
It was 50.
Thank you. 50. That's even worse. 50 million Russians died. Ethnic cleansing.
Yeah.
That's what it took to get people from operating in a Christian mindset to a communist atheist mindset. It took 50 million people to get wiped out to completely change the Soviets from being Christian based to Soviet atheistic based. So they've been destroying their own people. They don't care. That's what the scripture says. The thief cometh not, but to steal, kill, and destroy. Whether it's their own people, our people, people in Africa, the people in Asia, India, Saudi Arabia, it don't matter. Iran, Iraq, it don't matter. It really don't matter. Read on.
Because they have defiled my land. They have filled my inheritance with the carcasses of their detestable and abominable things.
Their policies, their ways, their dress code, their lifestyle, they've corrupted us with all that wickedness. Okay? And this is why they have to get double the punishment they've inflicted on the entire world. Let that verse go and go to Isaiah chapter 24, verse 17 through 23.
Isaiah chapter 24.
Verse 17 through 23.
Verse 17. Fear and the pit and the snare are upon thee.
He says, fear, the pit, and the snare are upon thee. Read on.
O inhabitants of the earth.
Specifically the ones that are in power. Read on.
And it shall come to pass that he who fleeth from the noise of the fear.
Listen, what does it mean by he that flees from the noise of the fear? The noise of what? These thermonuclear bombs. When they flee, when they get word that these bombs are coming, they know what's about to happen. They know the nuclear fallout. They know what's the worst thing that can happen. They're going to flee from the fear of the noise of that weapon. Read on.
Who fleeth from the noise of the fear shall fall into the pit.
They're going to go into that pit, which is the what? The mountains. The mountains, the space stations, the water, the submarines. Whatever facility they have that they think they can escape these bombs, they're going into that pit.
They have electronic systems that do mass communication just for those people.
Yes. The ones in the know, they know.
Yeah.
And they'll be accessible. They can get on a plane, get where they got to get to, and get out. You don't think that they're able to go to different people's location that's close enough they can go bum a spot to?
Exactly.
That's what they're going to
And
do.
they have underground tunnels throughout the United States already anyway.
Yes. And then they do
They
bad
already
things in those
have
tunnels.
underground tunnels, deep underground military bases already.
Yeah. That's just the military, let alone personalized scenarios. Okay? This is why when these angels come, they're coming for those military personnel also. It kind of specified it in Revelation chapter 6. Where it was the rich, it was the great, it was the regular people too. But we got to put two and two together. Those are your military enforcement people and your servants to the elites.
Yeah.
Read on.
And he that cometh up out of the midst of the pit.
Read verse 18 from the top again.
Come. Isaiah 24 and verse 18. And it shall come to pass that he who fleeth from the noise of the fear shall fall into the pit. And he that cometh up out of the midst of the pit shall be taken in the snare.
You come out of that pit, you're going to get snatched. So listen, either you're going to come out and get snatched, or they're going to come get you and be more angry and snatch you out. It's a lose-lose regardless. Read on. Yes, sir.
That means that some of them gonna try to evacuate and leave.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah! I mean, some are going to be there. They'll hear all this banging and crashing and banging. They got to try to get an escape hatch for that.
There's always in the movies that they always show when things collapse. They always give their escape hatches and they gotta go. That's like their solace. Their peace of mind.
Yeah.
But you can't flee the Father.
And that's what the scriptures are saying right here. There's no escaping Heavenly Father. Read on.
For the windows from on high are open, and the foundation of the earth do shake.
Mm-hmm.
The earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean dissolved.
The earth is clean dissolved. From what? From those bombs. Because where are you going to go? If you go topside, there's nowhere to go. If you stay inside, these angels with swords and fire coming for you. This straight fear. Read on.
The earth is moved exceedingly.
It's moved. We read earlier, like 2 weeks ago, that America's going to get split in 3 parts. So yeah, the earth has moved. You might be in Vegas, or you might be in Colorado. I don't know what the hell's going on now. That's what's happening. It's breaking off. Anyway, I don't want to assume something, but let's keep reading.
Those tectonic plates are going to get destroyed.
I was thinking about the tectonic plates splitting off from those mountain ranges.
You're going to have tectonic plates.
Because the plates are running off those mountain ranges anyway.
Exactly. And then when one tectonic plate has an issue, that tectonic plate affects another tectonic plate.
Yep. That was my point. The first thing I thought was like the country going to get broken off those fault lines that are running alongside those same mountains that are hollowed out for these military silos. What's going to happen when that happens? So what happens? You're sitting back here in a mountain, and the mountain splits up, and it's open, and these angels come right at you.
Got it.
Ah! You gonna jump in the water? That ain't cool either. Is that?
No, I was gonna say I think that's where Yellowstone Mountain rises. So
National Park.
Yeah. So
I wouldn't doubt that it's all up that whole coastline. I think it's in Cali. It's like the Sierra Mountains. And the East Coast is the Appalachian Mountains. And up north, there are different mountain ranges. But listen, however this thing shakes, you ain't winning. They're not winning. Okay? Let's continue.
God.
20, verse 20.
Isaiah 24, verse 20. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard.
Because it's going to be shaken from the numerous bombardment of these bombs. So they're going to be underground, thinking they're protected, and they're going to feel all the shaking and the moving and the destruction topside. Then you're going to hear these clacking sounds of horses coming from the mountains too. Read on.
And shall be moved like a cottage.
And shall be removed.
Salaki. And shall be removed like a cottage.
Mm-hmm.
And the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it. And it shall fall and not rise again.
Like I said, I don't know how a person can read all these verses and not see how everything's intertwined in these prophecies. Because it is. Let's continue.
And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in
No.
the pit.
I need 21.
Come. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall punish the host of the high one.
And now it gets specific about the Most High punishing the host, meaning the army of those high ones, the elites. He's going to punish these elites. Read on.
That are on high.
That are on high, that are making all the decision-making processes that is putting the world through the calamities that the world is going through right now. Somebody up top said, let's get this war between the United States and Ukraine. And you look up, or Russia and Ukraine. You look up, over 600,000 Ukrainians are dead. Just off this money heist to first of all take Ukraine, then eventually Russia. 600,000 people are just snuffed out. 150 to 200,000 Russians. That's almost 1 million people, and we ain't got started yet. There's a lot of blood that's on these people's hands. And this is just one small war. Read on verse 21 again from the top.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth.
It's going to be time for these high ones to get punished. Right? Read on.
Nobody sees, nobody can touch.
Yep, the untouchable ones. Exactly. That nobody really even knows. Read on.
And they shall be gathered together.
So now it starts to tighten up. Now we started reading from Joel chapter 2, and we were reading Isaiah, Jeremiah. Now once these angels break into these spots, they break into these little dens and these caves and these mountain ranges, or these space stations, or these sea stations, or these submarines. Once they're in, what are the angels going to do? Are they going to be killing them? Or what? Read on.
And they shall be gathered together, as prisoners are gathered in the pit.
They're going to be gathered as prisoners in a pit. They're going to be gathered as prisoners and eventually slavery. So what's happening is, what we're reading about is they're going to be put in jails until Israel gets purged. Because you got to think about it. How is Esau going to get put into captivity if Israel hasn't got purged and developed and proven to be the world powers that put these people in slavery? So they're going to be all rounded up and put in prisons for undisclosed time until we get dealt with. That might, us being dealt with, is going to be for years. You think it's going to be in a couple days? It's going to take months, possibly years, for us to be developed. Didn't that happen that way in Egypt?
Okay.
It took 40 years for us to get developed and purged. Lord knows how long it's going to be when we get out there. But it's going to be the same way it was in Egypt as it is in present day. So as we're being pleaded with face to face, they're going to be in jail. They're going to be in locked up. They're going to be in lockup. They're going to be in Angola.
Because they own Attica.
Worse. They're going to be in some bad spots. Rikers, whatever the hell you want to call it. Chino. All these spots out. Okay? Read verse 22 again.
Come. Isaiah 24, verse 22. And they shall be gathered together, as prisoners are gathered in the pit.
He says, as prisoners are gathered in the pit, underground. Read on.
And shall be shut up in the prison. And after many days, they shall be visited.
After many days, then they'll come back and snatch these cats up. And now you got prison. Now you got slavery waiting for you. You're gonna be in the joint until Israel gets pleaded with. Then when Israel gets ready to come back and put this war in order, then they'll come and get these elites, and then they got to start working on the damn slave, the chain gang. What's
I
that?
have a question. Is it going to be a day as of the Most High? That's 3,000 years.
No, I know it's not. You can't. A day is 1,000, but I'm not saying that.
Okay.
It's an undisclosed time. Well, what I can tell you is when Israel gets pled with, and we get developed, and we earn our spot in the kingdom, and we change physically, then we'll come back and pick them up, and then the clock starts. You ain't getting no time served this time, man. You're gonna be in jail. Then when we get ready and get purged out, then we're gonna put them in slavery. So once again, read verse 22.
God, Isaiah 24, verse 22. And they shall be gathered together, as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison. And after many days shall they be visited.
And many days could be 1,000, 3,000 days. Who the hell knows? They're going to be in there. What they built is their own prison. What they built is their own prison. Just like us. We sit back here and we run from the correction. We run from the lesson the Most High sits back here and has for us. We sit back and create the thing that destroys us. Same thing is happening with Esau. All these little places that are their safety nets will be their jail cells.
And their weaponry that they create, their sword, is what destroys their whole empire.
Yeah, and it's going to be destroyed. It's going to be destroyed for the innumerable iniquities, the infinite iniquities that they've done to the entire world. Read verse 23.
Isaiah 24, verse 23. Then the moon shall be confounded, and the sun ashamed, when the Lord of hosts shall reign in the Mount Zion and in Jerusalem, and before his ancients glorious.
The whole world's going to be ashamed, and they're going to be waiting on what's next. What he's saying is that the whole world's going to be broken down, and everybody's going to be waiting on what happens next. We're focusing on the elites. Don't forget, we still have an entire world of people running around here that haven't been dealt with yet. We're going to go into that either next week or the week after. I'm not sure. But we're going to deal with us being purged. Then we're going to deal with, while we're being purged, what's happened to the rest of the world. The elites is in prison. Not everybody else. Everybody in America's burnt. But you have an entire globe still going. Scary, man. This is real scary. It gets scarier as it goes.
Yeah.
We'll go into that in a little bit. But for now, all these elites are in prison. Okay? Now, let this verse go and go to Psalms 149, verse 4 through 9. 149, verse 4 through 9.
Psalms chapter 149, verse 4. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
God, for the Lord taketh pleasure in his people. He will beautify the meek with salvation.
Listen, the meek get the kingdom, not opinionated people. The meek shall inherit the earth. Where do you think Christ got that from? From Psalms. The meek get the salvation. Read on.
God, verse 5. Let the saints.
And what is meekness again? To endure injury without resentment. We still ain't figured that out in SOT. They ain't figured that out at all.
That might be a divine line for salvation.
I don't know. That's what the Bible says. The people that make the kingdom have meekness.
People that are meek, they have the opportunity. They're more likely to get the kingdom.
God.
The ones that are not meek, that can't deal with, I just can't deal with this brother, all that. But listen, bro, you set yourself up for them to be with the boys in that pit.
The pit boys. Well, I'm gonna say this. Now with that, go to 2 Ezra 13 and verse 16. We want to make sure we're talking about what that pit is. We got to make sure. 2 Ezra 13 and 16.
2 Ezra chapter 13 and verse 16. For as I conceive in mine understanding, woe to them that shall be left in those days.
Destruction to the people that are left that haven't been killed in those days, because it's about to get bad for everybody who's still living after Christ comes back with these chariots and these angels come and put these people in prison. He's like, woe to those people that are alive. Read on.
And much more woe unto them that are not left behind.
He says much more woe to the people who died, because the people who got killed, where are they going? It's a batter. This said much more woe. Like, man, what does that even mean? Much more woe? It's worse.
It's better to be.
It was better to sit back here and be in the pinta, in the pit, in the mountain range, than to sit back here and die in these nuclear bombs. And if you die in those nuclear bombs, that's it.
You go into the spiritual world.
Yes. It's a bad spiritual world. I'm going to go there. I'm going to pull that right now.
Okay.
Hell yeah. It's 2 Ezra chapter 9. Verse 12. Verse 11. No, 9. 2 Ezra 9, verse 10 through 12.
Right. 2 Ezra chapter 9. 2 Ezra chapter 9, verse 12.
So listen, he says it's better to live and be in complete fear of what's next.
Do cannibalism.
I don't want to sit back and tell people the fun part, the more fun that's coming to the world after this. This is gonna be bad. All I can say is think of the road, the movie The Road. Watch the road. Watch the road. This is what the road's gonna look like. The Road with Viggo Mortensen.
These are the good old days.
Listen, now you watch that damn movie, and you have a glimpse of how the real shit's gonna be. Once we're being purged in the wilderness. Read that verse.
2 Ezra chapter 9 and verse 9. It says, "Then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways."
No, I mean that means I know the scriptures.
Yeah.
But don't get it. Knowing the scriptures is what condemns us. We get condemned because we know the book.
Yep.
When you don't know the book, you're better off being a Christian that don't know the Bible. You just praising Jesus. And you're trying to be a good boy. You're better off not knowing none of this than knowing all these breakdowns, all these intricate details of information, and still rejecting Christ. It's one thing to reject the Spirit because you're ignorant. That's one thing. I don't know any better. I thought it was okay just I thought Jesus was about singing and dancing and giving tithes. I was completely ignorant. But to know Revelations to Genesis, all the breakdowns, all the knowledge, what nations with who, who's with who, the future prophecies, to who those who know much have to also what? They have to show much in their behavior.
As much is given, much is required.
It's a much is given, much is required. Better way to say it. So if you know much more, this is those who abuse the ways. I got 1,000 brothers in scriptures, and I want to be a brother. I got 1,000 forgiveness scriptures, and I don't want to forgive. I got 1,000 study scriptures, and I don't want to study. I got 1,000 order scriptures, but I'm not ordered. I got 1,000 submission scriptures, but I don't want to submit. I've been in all these classrooms. I've been in all these internet channels. I've collected. I could write the book off the dome. So some person do quote scripture off the dome. Just keep going. Just keep going. And they deal with somebody. But I don't want to live up to the behavior. I don't want to live right amongst the people of Israel. I don't want to rehearse the righteous acts. Cool. It's fine. Read on.
And that's why Christ said, if you knew the Lord's will and you stood and prepared yourself, because the preparing yourself is how we got to this point right here. You got the will, you got the instruction. What did you do with it? Because the servants that didn't prepare themselves, they get beat with many stripes. Mm-hmm. They get the greatest condemnation. The Most High does wink at ignorance. The nations and our people who don't know the Bible, they get a different level of judgment. How they're judged, how they look at it be different versus us. So the Bible says he starts at the house of the priests, the leaders.
Yep.
The ones who got the scriptures are required to uphold a higher standard. And if not, you got to deal with the higher consequence.
Mm-hmm. Let's keep going.
2 Ezra chapter 9 and verse 9. It says, "Then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways.
Read on.
And they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torment."
The ones that despitefully just got rid of the scriptures and the spiritual way to get through your battles, ones that didn't appreciate the spiritual process of solving their problems and discarded them, hardened hearts.
The hardened, we had 5 to 6 classes about
5 classes
hardened hearts.
That's why I just want to point out this real quick. When it says those that abuse my ways, to abuse means to misuse with bad motives or wrong purposes. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people get the scriptures, get the information, and use it to their advantage. They get the information to manipulate.
Manipulate women.
Manipulate women, manipulate hearts, manipulate men. Those people specifically, you got to answer the Most High. You can't get the power of the Most High, the zeal to influence in a positive manner.
And to take care of people that are in a weaker position.
That are in a weaker position.
Vulnerable.
That are vulnerable, that are needing strength, needing a light. And you be the darkness to lead them to destruction. Because those people are what make people non-believers. Mm-hmm. They will make men non-believers, women non-believers, mm-hmm. and make Christ look bad. Okay. That's what it means to abuse his ways.
So let's continue.
Verse 10. It says, "For such as in their life have received benefits."
What that means is you receive benefits based upon you taking advantage of other people.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the point. When you get what you want, somebody else got to lose. When you sit back here and push your way, somebody else got to lose out the day.
Yeah.
Read on.
It says, "For such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me,
Mm-hmm.
and they that have loathed my law, while they had yet liberty,
Read on.
and when as yet place of repentance was open unto them, understood not, but despised it."
So what happens to that person who despises the word and the proper use of the word? Read on.
"The same must know it after death by pain."
That's all the Most High tells you about what happens at the end. When you die, you're going to experience pain after death. And this is when you sit back with that and take 2 Ezra 13 and verse 16 again. He said you're going to sit back here, and after you die, you're going to experience pain. How does your spirit experience pain? Your flesh is already dead. I don't know. Read on. In 2 Ezra 13 and 16.
2 Ezra 13 verse 16. "For as I conceive in mine understanding, woe unto them that shall be left in those days."
Destruction in a very difficult, scary time is going to be the people left on earth at this time, after the bombs are dropped. Read on.
"And much more woe unto them that are not left behind."
Much more destruction to the ones that died. Their pain was on an earlier clock than the ones that are living and are suffering on earth. So we're saying that the suffering below in this other dimension and realm is worse than whatever imaginable suffering you can have in the flesh on earth.
it's
Bro.
being on vacation in comparison.
Bro.
It's like whoever's going down there in Sheol, in that realm, dealing with whatever the infinite ammunition of war and nuclear fallout, disease and pestilence and suffering and
starvation,
and loneliness and starvation and fear and sleeplessness. That is like a vacation on the beaches of France.
Sandro Pay.
It's like going to Sandro Pay. It's like going to Sandro Pay.
Listen, that's what the rappers always say, man. Sandro
being in
Pay.
the apocalypse like Sandro Pay in comparison to what's going underground.
Read verse 17.
Verse 17. "For they that were not left were in heaviness."
Listen, heaviness is pain after death.
Yeah.
Whatever the hell that looks like.
There's a whole bunch of. I ain't gonna go.
That's what's nothing to go there, bro. It's nothing to be fun about. There's nothing happy about this. This entire process is scary as hell. But let's continue on top. We got a few more verses. Psalms 148.
Time.
No, sorry, 149.
149.
Yeah, continue.
Psalms chapter 149, verse 5.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their bed.
Listen, the saints eventually will be joyful in glory, but we haven't been proven yet. So it is undetermined which of the people that get to the wilderness will be referred to as the saints. Just because you got picked up does not mean you're going to make it.
Yeah.
We read about all of Israel left Egypt.
Yeah.
That don't mean they all made it.
Hey, but everybody.
That's the point.
Yeah.
So everybody getting pulled out of Israel like, yeah, high five. Yeah, we make the kingdom. We make the. No, you don't. No, you don't.
You made the purge.
No, you're going to the purge. You're going to the first purge, the real purge. That's what you get. Read on. So right now, we haven't gotten. When you're sitting back here reading these verses, you're reading sequencing of time. It's a sequence of time. We haven't gotten to the saints being joyful in glory. Read on.
Verse 6. Let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth.
Yeah, because the ones who make it are going to be praising the Most High. They're going to be appreciative and have that pure outlook. Read on.
And a two-edged sword in their hand.
Read on.
To execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people.
That's also that next phase after Israel gets purged. The next phase is for us to go around the world and put the rest of the world in order. But that's years down the line. Read on.
To bind their kings with chains.
Now that these guys are obviously coming from those jails.
Yeah, that's what we're all go to the jails and put these guys on chain gangs.
They come from
and
jail.
bring their butt up
prison.
and to get divvied up on the auction blocks. Who wants the Rockefellers? Me! I want the Rockefellers.
The Rock.
Listen, who wants the Rothschilds? Me, I want the Rothschilds. You can't have them all at war. You have to disperse the servants for everyone. This is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. I don't want. No, you can keep that. Where's Joe? I want Joe Biden. I need Joe Biden.
I think he's funny.
I want Joe. I want Joe Biden. I want that guy. Anyway, let's keep going.
We're gonna make him young again.
Yeah, we got to. Let's go.
We gotta carry this.
I don't want his son. He's white, bro. I want Joe
Hunter
Biden.
Biden's like, I'll serve you.
No, I don't want Hunter. There's no powder for you. So no, you can't. He's gonna be breaking down. Anyway, let me stop. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep.
I got some secrets to tell you.
Let's keep reading, man.
Psalms chapter 149, verse 8. To bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron.
That's what's good. You see, everything's a sequence. This happens. Us pulling them out of the jail is after we get purged and put in order. The nation gets put in order, and these elites get pulled out of these jails, and then this is the next phase of their punishment. Read on.
Verse 9. To execute upon them the judgment written.
Now, read on.
This honor have all his saints.
The ones who get purged and accept the purging. Read on.
Praise ye the Lord.
Go to Revelations 13, verse 9 and 10. And then Revelations 18. These are going to be the last two verses we go through. Revelations chapter 13. This is one we pull all the time. 13, verse 9 and 10.
Come. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 9. Ready?
Yep.
If any man have an ear, let him hear.
Mm-hmm.
He that leadeth
13.
into captivity shall go into captivity.
Mm-hmm.
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
And if you're going to be fair, the people who killed with the sword and put into captivity were the elites, or the people with the money and the resources to get it done. Everybody else is just collateral damage. The Most High is waiting for all that pain and pressure and death to hit them, and that slavery to hit the ones who are pulling the strings, who've tasted nothing but the lapse of luxury. They're going to be the ones that feel and have to feel the consequence of their actions. And they're going to get double of what they inflicted through their policies. It's going to be on them, those individuals. Okay? Let that verse go and go to Revelation 18, verse 6 through 19, and then verse 23.
Revelation chapter 18, verse 6.
I'm ready.
It says, reward her even as she rewarded you.
So the Most High is going to reward Esau like he's rewarded us. Read on.
And
in chapter 18, it's talking about Babylon. Read verse 2 just to confirm it so there's no confusion.
Revelations 18 and 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen.
America is fallen. Okay, read on.
Is fallen, and become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean hatred.
That's talking about the society's ungodly. The society, it has nothing to do with pleasing the Heavenly Father. It's all about money, taking, using, abusing. And that's what Babylon was known for. With that, jump to verse 6.
Revelations 18 and 6. It says, reward her, even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works.
And specifically, the people, the movers and shakers that made America run and made America operate, they're going to get double according to their works. Read on.
In the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double.
They're going to get double of the pain, anguish, and wickedness that has been implemented all across the world, not just in America. The exploitation of the indigenous people of North, Central, and South America, the people of Africa, the colonization of the people in China and the Far East and Japan and the bombing and the nuking of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. You think the Most High forgot all that?
The Aborigines.
The wipe out the Aborigines in Australia. The wipe out of 50 million Russians in Europe. All this stuff, man. They gotta answer for.
The blood has to be accounted for.
All of it. Read on.
Verse 7. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously.
They've glorified themselves with one-sided propaganda. They've lived deliciously under the backs of everybody else working to uplift this place. Not just out here, but all around the world. The reason people out here can get the affordable prices that they can get is because of everybody else is suffering. Everybody else around the world is suffering while this place is still barely hanging on by a thread. Read on.
So much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow. It says, and she see no sorrow.
No, and shall see.
And she shall see no sorrow.
Read it from the top. It's choppy, so read it from the top.
Gotcha. It's verse 7. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow.
And this is why all these wars have been implemented all around the world, but nothing is really touching America. America was never intended to see any wars, see any nuclear bombs. They thought they could sit back here and just establish imperialism and colonialism all around the world, but see nothing coming home. And that was their mistake. Read on.
Therefore shall her plagues come in one day.
Therefore, because they thought that they could sit back here and have their hands in all the government assassinations, all of the Arab Spring, where the entire Arab world was turned upside down from different policies, from propaganda, how they sat back here and
robbing everybody.
What's that?
And robbing
and stealing everybody, sitting back here and exploiting people through the IMF, sitting back here and taking out farms. They've been disruptive all around the world. Okay? So they're saying, because of all their wrongdoing, therefore shall her plagues come in one day. Read on.
Death and mourning and famine.
God. Read on.
And she shall be utterly burned with fire.
America's going to be utterly burned with fire from the thermonuclear destruction. But the mourning and the death and the famine will be leading up to the burning. We just haven't gone into that part yet. It'll be another time we did it, but all the mourning and the sorrow and the famine is going to happen before the bombs drop. Read on.
For strong is the Lord Yahweh who judgeth her, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her.
Like all these other countries that are allies, NATO, all the countries that are neutral, like India and China, teeters every once in a while because they know if they completely cut off the United States, they completely suffer. Whether it's Saudi Arabia, they sit back here, they want this BRICS thing to work, but they can't cut off the United States or they can't sustain themselves and protect themselves militarily. Because they sit back here and live off the weapons the United States gives them to keep them protected from Iran and other enemies in the Yemen, all these countries around. Everything's a game, but you got to go through the United States, the big boss, to keep your territory either militarily safe or your country fed. So they all have to play ball with the United States. You got Turkey flip-flops all the time because they need American weapons. They don't need their ports stopped by the United States Navy. So they got to play ball too. But on the low, they're saying, okay, Russia, when you get this BRICS thing together, we want to be part of BRICS too, and part of the EU. This is the games that everybody has to play to make sure their country can eat. Read on.
God. It says, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her.
Because you're committing fornication because you have to compromise your nation's standards, your nation's belief system, your nation's sovereignty to adjust and adapt to their will. Read on.
Shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning.
Because what are they going to do when they've invested all their money, their resources, their policies, their weapons into following the United States and they're not there to support you anymore. How are you going to sit back, for instance, South Korea? What's South Korea going to do when America falls? Because North Korea is waiting for them right there. And they still got weapons. And Russia going to let North Korea go do what they got to do with South Korea? Yes. You think this is going to happen? What's Japan going to do? When they have no way to sustain themselves because they've tethered their economy with the United States economy. What's Japan going to do? You're going to read this in 2 Ezra chapter 15, where it says war to Asia. War to all these countries that are from, when you read the Bible, Asia is classified from Saudi Arabia eastward. Everything from Saudi Arabia eastward is Asia. So the Most High is like, all these countries from Saudi Arabia east that tethered themselves to the United States, what are you going to do when these bombs drop? These are the ones that are bewailing all the events that happened in America and the fall of NATO.
And this is going to be experienced in our lifetime.
In our lifetime. Read on.
Verse 10. Standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, the great city Babylon.
This great country, Babylon. Read on.
That mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come.
Out of nowhere, the entire country is destroyed, and all the wealth's going to be transferred immediately. Read on.
And the merchants of the earth shall weep.
The merchants are the ones who really ran the country. The merchants are your banks.
Foreign investment.
Well, the merchants were your banks.
Yeah.
The bankers were the ones who were mourning because there's no more money. There's no more way to sit back here and make this economy flow the way it used to. Don't forget the way the United States ran it. They were able to make money without having money. They didn't have any. The dollar didn't match the gold in their reserves. How were they able to spend at this rate without anything to back it? So all these merchants are like, how the hell are we going to survive without this system intact? Because now everybody got to operate fiscally responsible and not just spend money just off the petrodollar.
We're the number one consumers too.
Exactly.
The issue is we're the most consumptive.
So how is China going to survive without America?
They don't consume like that over there.
I know.
The countries, they're smart, bro. They sit here, they make a dollar stretch.
Yeah.
We blow money.
So China, how is China going to feed their people with America gone? They're living off of America. Exploit them to survive.
China. Everything you touch is.
Yeah.
Where you get it? Where's it from? China.
Is it
not really?
I'm just messing around.
No.
But this is what we're explaining is the whole world is living off of the system that America establishes itself. So they're like, how are we going to feed ourselves and take care of our country without this place upholding it? A lot of these countries don't have the financial, even wherewithal. They don't have enough natural resources to feed themselves.
Yeah.
China, Japan cannot survive. There's not enough things that grow out there to keep them afloat.
Everybody needs this global trade thing going on.
Listen, China needs money bad. China needs resources bad. They don't have enough resources to keep everybody fed.
It's only a matter of time.
This is why China be fighting for the American farmland. They want American farmland because they need to feed their people. And they don't have enough resources. They're farming. They can't sustain farming because of their climate. Anyway, and they're flooding in I think they're flood seasons.
Flooding over there,
and they can't do their crops there.
Now they're getting desert. They're planting trees in deserts now. It's gonna take a long time, bro. It's been working.
So everybody is stressing about how we're going to be able to sustain ourselves when America falls. Okay, let's keep reading.
The merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore.
Exactly.
That's the point, because America was the number one consumer. So they're sitting back here living off the business. Listen, the funny thing is, the United States was sending America China all this money for cars, and China would sit back here and make a bunch of cars and never sell them.
Never sell them.
They would show that they had mountains of bicycles, graveyards of electric cars and bicycles, and they would sit back and get all this money from the United States, and they would take it and they'll find the right time to scrap the project and just keep the money in their pocket. They show it in China there's thousands of the same white electric car out, and they just never opened that, but they can't sell them, but they need the money. So they sit back and prop up these perspectives. Yeah, we're going to be using this. We're going to be selling this many cars to our people. They can't flip them, so they get United States bankers to come in and get the money, and they just sit on the money, and then the company goes belly up. But they got millions of dollars in kickbacks, and they can't sell the cars, or they can't sell these widgets or these bikes or whatever the hell they're trying to do.
They just have mounds of trash heaps of widgets.
Yes, I've seen them. Bikes. They just can't. Nobody's buying bikes like that. But they'll sit back and inflate the numbers to get the money from the banks. So they're like, how in the hell are we going to sit back and eat without this banking money, these investors coming in and buying our whack products? Let's keep reading.
Yeah, it says, see China's abandoned EV graveyard.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's a real thing.
They have more
Sure.
than that.
You give it to me. Give me a picture of it.
Oh, man. I'll take all this stuff out. I don't know about that, bro.
You said it's
I'll send it to him. It's just abandoned graveyards.
China's abandoned EV electronic vehicle graveyard. We're going to keep teaching about it. That's cool, man. Okay, let's keep going. It's okay. Trust me. Okay? Or just look up your Google machine and just say it.
Google it.
But let's keep going.
It says cars in China and deserts.
It's too late now, man. It's too late. Let's go, man.
Revelation.
That time to go.
No, listen. I want to go. There's no more. They can't do it.
Revelations 18 and 12. It says, the merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all fine work.
Sheen will close down when America falls. Huh? Sheen will be no longer in business. Huh? It's the truth. Read on.
It says, and all manner vessels of ivory and all manner vessels of most precious wood and of brass and iron and marble. And,
yes.
And cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men.
He's telling you all of this commerce and trading is based off of United States want and their insatiable need for things. Same thing in Europe, NATO, all those countries, that insatiable need for things is fueling all these other countries sustaining itself. And when it says slaves, who do you think is doing this labor to make these things? It's slave labor. Who's making these Nikes? Slave labor. They're the ones in these foreign countries are doing it for $1 or $2 a piece, and the United States is making max dollars off the profits. But even the little pennies that they're making is keeping their people fed. Let's keep going.
And souls of men. It says,
and you just sit back here and call like your cell phone company, and you have a issue with your cell phone issue. You're calling somebody in the Philippines. You know that, right? You're calling somebody in India, right? You're not calling anybody in the States a lot of times. They're sitting back here outsourcing their work. There's a website called Freebie, and if you want to sit back here and get outsourced work, you go and get a receptionist from Philippines for like $5 an hour. That's what people do. If you want to sit back and cut costs, you go on Freebie, you look for a receptionist between $5 to $8 an hour, and it beats anybody in America. You can get all your phone calls, point up to that number, and they can sit back here and do the work that America would do for 1/3 of the price. Big wigs do it all the time. Some Sprint, T-Mobile, not Sprint, but T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, they do that also. And that's how they save their money. You cut costs. So as these big major corporations are cutting costs, the nations are surviving off of it. Now that Babylon falls, how is everybody going to eat? Read on. Let's just keep going through it.
Verse 14, it says, and the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which we were dainty and goody are departed from thee.
Goodly are departed from thee. Because America's full of there's a place where you can get all the dainty and goodly items specific to your little thing that you're into. It's no longer going to be available. Read on.
It says, and thou shalt find them no more at all.
Because that means all the foreign businesses are going to be collapsing. Read on.
The merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, alas, alas, the great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust on their heads, and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, the great city, wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea, by reason of her costliness.
So what he's saying is even the shipping industries are going to be shut down.
So far.
Because all the shipping will go to America. A lot of it will go to those NATO countries, and the NATO countries are no more. He's just saying that the way that the economic system has been established is going to fall apart. Read verse 23.
We're gonna wake up one day and it's all changed without any we get preparation for this.
God.
They wake up one day
and it's all over. Everything's changed. You got to find out how you're going to eat.
You got to go back to
primitive means to survival.
Sticks and killing animals and getting.
That's
fired.
what they're saying. Our whole way of life is turned upside down.
Yeah.
You think when these bombs are hitting, there's going to be grocery stores still here? How is the shipping industry going to be? That's what they're saying. You can't get items from point A to point B. You think there's going to be factories and manufacturing companies and processing companies, food processing plants? Then they're going to be open once these bombs hit?
The air is open.
You think food's going to be getting from A to B with ease? You think all these refrigerated trucks are going to be good? Listen, the countries are established by trucking industries. You think that's going to be going on once all this bomb and destruction go on? All that's going to be changed.
But you got to see it.
You're going to have to be a damn hunter-gatherer.
Yeah.
How about that?
You're going back to that life.
You better learn how to do it. We get some Bowie knives and get all the survival tactic books you can. Because that's where the world's going to.
So you can see a progressive change from the morning because the merchant and the corporatism is over.
Yeah.
That corporate society is done, and you're going now to survival world. Yeah. That is a different world now.
And you're going to be having packs and groups that you align with for survival.
Yeah.
1 second. Let me finish this verse out. Read verse 23.
Revelations 18:23. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee. And the voice of the bridegroom and the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee.
Read on.
For thy merchants were the great men on the earth.
I just want to bring that part. The merchants were the great men of the earth, the elites, the bankers. They're the ones who ran this entire thing from the jump. Okay? The merchants are the elites that are going to be in these prison cells waiting for judgment once we get purged. Read on.
For by thy sorceries were all nations.
Sorceries are just processes. They're governmental strategies. They're how they sat back here and set up debt slaves, do their policies. That's the sorcery that got all the nations deceived. Loans, banking, interest, forfeiture of property.
The societal approaches.
God.
Every 5 to 10 years, the societal approach shifts.
Well, it shifts. Well, I'm going to say that the natural resource shifts, but the societal approach is the same. How you bankrupt nations, how you force them to capitulate to your approaches because they can't pay bank loans. I don't want to get too long. We're at 3 hours. Let's shut this down. But next week we'll go into the next phase of the kingdom. All right, there's a lot of stress. The water for tuning in. There's a lot of information. I didn't want to start midstream next week, but we got it done. The water for tuning in. See y'all on Wednesday. Shalom.
Shalom.